So welcome to the Kickback FC. Thank you for joining us once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Welcome to the Kickback FC, your go-to spot for unfiltered, real talk, all things soccer. Here we've got it all. We're going to be breaking down the biggest moments, hottest takes, and everything that you need to stay plugged into the world's game. We'll even tap into some other sports from time to time because if it's big in sports, we've definitely got some thoughts on it. Whether this is your first episode with us or you've been rocking with us from the jump, again, I just want to say thank you to all of our friends and supporters. Once again, my name is Cornelius, joined by my boys and fellow co-host Poppy. Once again, thanks for joining us. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling good, man. Thanks for having me once again.
Absolutely, Mike. How you feeling tonight, man?
Feeling great. Can't complain. How about you, Sloan?
Feel really good, man. Got to watch the Cleveland Crunch get their first dub yesterday, so all is well. It's been a good weekend. What's up, Cornelius?
Correction, get their first home dub. 3-0 on the season, my boy.
Right. My bad, bro.
3-0 on the season, my boy. Yeah,
10-1 yesterday.
Yeah, Gabriel's unfortunately not with us here, but I feel okay, man. It's honestly been a long week. Just do a quick Cleveland Crunch update since we just brought them up. The Cleveland Crunch did have their first home game here in Cleveland at the Wolstein Center downtown. Salam and I were both there. Gabriel was there as well. Obviously, he's on the team, so he was playing. And man, it was a dope event. It was great to see the Wolstein lively. It was cool to get there early and kind of see things before all the madness started. But first and foremost, congrats to the team. 10-1 win against the Chicago Mustangs. Kind of handled them pretty. It was tougher than the score showed. I feel like 10-1 doesn't explain the whole story. The first half, the score was 6-1, so that goes to show the second half only had 4 goals. The Crunch took a little bit to score in that second half. It was pretty tight in that third quarter, them not getting their 7th goal until about 8 minutes in, and then kind of took control after they got that goal. But yeah, it was some fireworks in the fourth quarters, 4 red cards, some bloody noses, a couple fights. It had everything that you needed for a home opener. The fans were all in it. There were promotional blue cards that were passed out for all the fans, so fans were even able to get into some of the action, handing out cards on their own. And it was just cool from a media perspective, just being on the floor, being able to interact with the team. It was another step for the Kickback FC, but I had a great time. Again, shout out to the Crunch. Salam, how'd you enjoy the game?
Oh, man, it was a great experience overall. I mean, like you said, definitely it was my first time ever being at a game like that in a media capacity, which is like a different approach in itself. Because sometimes you want to celebrate. Like I remember when Gabriel hit the last goal, I wanted to celebrate, and I was like, oh, shit. I still got work I got to do. But no, it was great. I mean, like you said, the Wolves team was lively. I thought the crowd definitely showed up, backed the team. The players played well. And, I mean, it was a good time, man. You saw a lot of families there, a lot of kids there. And it was just a great overall experience and a great just product overall. So happy to be a part of, them this home season and just a fun experience overall, man.
For somebody that was watching at home, I actually thought it looked good as a product, to watch from home. And the Wolstein was way packed than I actually expected it to. I think, the marketing and the promotion seems to be working. I've seen a lot of clips already online of, individuals that were at the game, very impressed, with the Cleveland Crunch. So this is the year to bring the trophy back home, man. I feel like there's a lot of support behind the team. So it was good to see, man. I think very good game, man. Chippy as hell. Even Sierra enjoyed watching it, which was crazy. Yeah, we're watching it, and she pointed out you guys. She was like, "Wait, is that Salam?" Because I told them, she knew that I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
So we were trying to look for you guys, but I thought you guys maybe were on the bottom side of the screen. So I wasn't even looking. He's like, wait, that looks like Salam. So we go back and I see Cornelius like doing I'm like, oh yeah, that's Cornelius. That gotta be Salam there. But yeah, it was a great product, man. This team might be the best in the league. So I'm excited to see what they do this season, man.
Yeah. Like I said, that Chicago team, they've been playing for the last like 2-3 years, so they're familiar with Chicago. But the league has more teams this year. So the MLIS, Major League Indoor Soccer, has expanded into conferences. There's the North and the South. So there are some teams that the Crunch haven't seen yet at all, and they might not see until the postseason. So it's a good product. It's good that from a viewing perspective, even though you're not at the game, you can still stream it on YouTube. You can stream it through Cleveland local WKYC or Channel 3. So it's dope that they're leveraging their partners and they have that viewing experience even if you aren't able to attend the game in Cleveland. So Mike, thanks for sharing that, because it's dope to hear that even though you weren't at the game, you could still get into the action online. So that's good to hear. And for the Crunch, for this being the home opener, I feel like still a lot of people aren't aware. Just like you said, there are already clips going around, which is super good to see, and I feel like this can only grow. The support behind the team was great, but we would love to see that whole lower bowl field even, start to get to that second row. Would be amazing. But for the Crunch, man, once again, great product, great game, and we're rooting for y'all the whole season to bring the trophy back home to Cleveland. Yeah, man, just
yeah, because I'm not just to understand here, I'm not like fully familiar with it. How long has the league been around? And it's a national league, right?
Yeah, so it's interesting. The MLIS, the Major League Indoor Soccer, I believe, is a new league. I believe they've been around for just 2 years, maybe 3, or they started in 2022. So prior to that, there were a few different leagues. I know that when the Crunch first came back, they were actually in the MASL, which is the Major Arena Soccer League. So there were 2 different indoor leagues. I think the MASL is disbanded, or if they're not, they kind of rebranded into something else. And now the Crunch are part of the MLIS, which is the Major League Indoor Soccer. So there are a few different indoor leagues. The Crunch was part of one. They won a few championships there. Now they're part of the MLIS. They won the championship back in the 2023 or 24 season, excuse me. And now, they were in the championships last year. And now again, this is, I believe, the 3rd season that the Crunch are in the MLIS. So a few different leagues. We're kind of still figuring it out too, because it's all new for them. Again, the Crunch have been back since 2025. So, this is the 2nd time they've been back, but yeah, 2 trophies to our name, trying to make it a 3rd. And they start off the season 3-0 with a pretty healthy goal differential. So they starting off the year kind of how they ended the year last year. So
that's nice.
As I say, the league also has a women's league too that just launched in 2024 as well too.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Just a quick Crunch update. We'll be giving you guys updates every time they have games. Again, we as the Kickback FC are there in the media capacity, so we'll be bringing back some highlights, some videos. We'll even be doing some quick write-ups on our Substacks just to let you guys know how the games went, just in 500 words or less, so you can kind of get a synopsis and a feel of the game. So once again, shout out to the Crunch. But yeah, man, we want to hop over to Mama Africa. We got to talk AFCON, man, because it's getting down to the bitter end, man. It's been very, very good to watch these games, and we are finally at the semifinal stage. We have Senegal, who will be facing Egypt upcoming this week, and then we also have Nigeria, who will be facing Morocco. 2 big matches, but before we talk about those matches, we have to talk about how we got here, because the quarterfinals, I mean, we've been saying it the whole time, but these games have been exciting to watch. They've been full of excitement, full of major goals. Just something happens every game, And so I do want to start with the first couple of games that we had on Friday, January 9th. We had Mali versus Senegal. Poppy, we brought you on to be our correspondent over in Dakar. So, you had Senegal going to the finals. Obviously, you had the motherland going and beating Mali in the quarterfinal stage. But I feel like it was a little bit more difficult than you thought. 1-0 match to Senegal. But, Mali had a red card and they kind of just held through the entire match. Your overall take of the game and, just kind of explain what you need to see from Senegal in the semifinal match in order to get back into the finals.
Yeah, the game versus Mali was was actually, if I'm honest, one of those games where I wasn't really worried. Like I was one of those that were never really much impressed with the Mali team. I know a lot of y'all, really had Mali doing some things, but I just looked at what they've been able to show us so far, and you know, before the game against Senegal, Mali had 0 wins, and they did not really show much to me. So I said last week that I don't see Senegal losing to that Mali team, and the only thing that was concerning for me was the physicality, because it's a very physical team, and we had to come out there and show that we're not going to get punked. But yeah, early on Senegal scored, and then Bissouma got a red card. After that, it was just I feel like Senegal just they were already up 1-0, and then after Bissouma took the red card, I think most Senegal players just said, "All right, let's just play with them here." They kind of took their foot off the gas. They didn't really try hard, but they maintained their lead and ended up winning the game. But then again, I mean, it's no disrespect to this Mali team, but they didn't really show much to me. Like, I mean, in this AFCON, Mali had 5 games, 0 wins, 2 goals, and both goals were via penalty, 3 red cards, and like 79 fouls or something. Like that's it. Like they had more red cards than goals. Like they didn't they and they couldn't score in open play. So I wasn't really worried about them during this game. I was just more worried about the physicality, because they're bigger and they're more, hardcore than a lot of Senegal players. But we ended up holding the lead and taking care of business. you know. But yeah, the Mali team is promising though. They have some talent, and I think they can do good. But yeah, Senegal now has to face Egypt, and it's going to be a really really good game. Um, should I talk about that now, or do we get to other quarterfinal games and then we talk about the semifinals?
Yeah, no, we'll talk about the other quarterfinals and then we'll talk about the semis. We'll do our predictions a little bit
Okay.
later. I just want to talk about how we got to the semis, because Senegal was one of the favorites. I believe both of us or all of us kind of said Senegal and Morocco, being the home country, are two of the big favorites that we're looking at. Nigeria was also up there. We'll talk about them here in a second. But for Senegal to get to the semifinals again is a big feat for them, and so we just have to kind of congrats and show how they got there. But it's interesting that you said that you kind of expected Senegal to walk all over Mali. You guys only won 1-0, even with Basuma getting that red card at the end of the first half. So, is that worry you a little bit going into the semifinal match that you guys only got
Uh,
against 10 men Mali?
yes and no. Yes, because it's not normal that we play Mali with 10 men for you know almost an hour and can't score on them, despite them being with 10 men. That's not normal. But then again, we've had a lot of chances that we missed. I think actually the man of the match award should have went to Diarra, the Mali goalkeeper. He made a lot of crazy saves. But knowing how Senegal plays, Senegal is the type of team that adapts to its opponent. Like when Senegal plays against a team like Brazil and England, they adapt to their style and they play great. But when Senegal plays against a team like Mali, they also adapt to Mali's style and they don't, go out there and do the most work. That's the only thing that I dislike about the Senegal team. So yeah, it was worrisome that we weren't able to score despite Mali going down with 10 men. But at the same time, I feel like, being up 1-0 and having the numbers advantage, I think most of the players kind of just took their foot off the gas because there was no threat. So they were just playing. And it was I don't think it would happen in another situation, but I definitely would have liked to see better performances from Senegal other than that. But considering how we've had a lot of chances, it just goes back to efficiency. We got to score these chances, man. we can't afford to miss these chances against big teams like Egypt, for example. So yeah, because Egypt is a team that doesn't let you make mistakes twice. So yeah, I think I would say yes and no. Yes, we should have scored more goals against Mali, but given the circumstance and the situation, I can understand why we play that way. So I'm not worried.
No, fair assessment. Fair
I've
assessment.
heard you, Poppy, and I actually agree with everything you pretty much said. But I also like to go the other way a little bit. I have this buddy at work. He's a Senegalese guy, and we've been talking AFCON, and he had the same feeling you did. And I told him in these tournaments sometimes, clearly you guys are one of the best teams, not only in the tournament but on the whole continent. I'm like, for me, this was a professional win. From an outsider looking in, this was a win where you could have came out on the other side. It could have been an upset, but you took care of business, even though it was 1-0. When it comes to these tournaments, sometimes it's just about moving on to the next game. Gabriel said, Mali could pull it off. And I'm not saying they came close, but I mean, Mali don't really concede like that. So for you guys to even win the game 1-0 and move on and it not having any extra drama, I think that's a win. You look at it and you move on like, hey, we just took care of business, on to the next game. But I agree with you, going into a game like Egypt, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
this team is quality. In our last studio session, we were talking about expectations for some of these teams, some of these stars we want to see. And for me, I said Mohamed Salah and Marmoush, and these two have been great. So if you go into the next game the way you kind of like have been, I'll say the last two games, I would say, but the previous one was 3-1, this one was 1-0. But even the 3-1, the team had to score before you guys finally woke up and took it seriously. So yeah, you can't go into the next game with Egypt, playing like that. But overall, I thought it was a good professional win for you guys.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Mike. Sometimes you just need to get through.
Yeah.
And 1-0 definitely gets you through to the next round. So our second game on Friday was host country Morocco facing Cameroon. Morocco comes out with a 2-0 lead, placing their ticket in the semifinals. Brahim Diaz, man. So far, he is the Golden Boot leader with 5 goals. El Kabi, again, assists. He got the start this week, showing that he can, do it as a starter or do it coming off the bench. He's going to give you quality minutes, as long as he's on the pitch. This Morocco team, I think, is finding the right form going into the deep stages of the tournament. And then, obviously with them having the country and the home field advantage, they have everybody at their back right now. How do we feel about this Morocco team heading into the semis?
I want to ask you on this.
Go ahead, Mike.
Is Brahim Diaz right now player of the tournament so far?
I think he's one of them. We haven't talked about Nigeria yet. Nigeria has a few that could be up there as well.
CAF, I would say this: CAF has a big problem picking who will be in the AFCON best 11 after the tournament ends, because there are a lot of players that can make it, especially in the attack.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Golden Boot leader, he already got that bias with the home country. I mean, if they can go to the finals, he'll definitely be in the best 11 player of the tournament. We'll see.
He's a good shout, but I'd have to go with Mohamed Salah, if I'm being honest.
I mean, that's not a bad shout either. But this Morocco team, they're humming at the right time. I know I've said, both Poppy and I have said, some of their wins have been a little shaky, but I mean, the next two games, well, let me not speak ahead of myself, but this past game that they played against Cameroon, I'm not going to lie, I didn't expect them to beat Cameroon. I just didn't see it. But it was a pretty good win. I also feel like Cameroon have some, some point when it comes to the VAR situation on that PK. I feel like that PK came down to angles. If you show one angle, it looks different. You show the other angle, it looks different. And it could have gone either way. So I don't want to put too much into it, but if you're Cameroonian and you want to have some, opinions on that, I feel like it's fair. But yeah, I think Cameroon is still doing what they need to do. The next game should be a good game enough for them to hopefully get them to the final, but we'll see what happens. But Morocco has done their job. They've done what they need to do. Hopefully 2 more games to be crowned champion, but you got to take care of Nigeria up next, but we'll see what happens. But overall, you can't
Yeah,
get too mad, man. You're right there.
I think Morocco handled business once again as usual, as they should. I mean, to know when they were on the field, they were the better team. I mean, people will, like I said, people will talk about how convincingly they win games, and a couple of people will talk about the refereeing and stuff, because it's now becoming more and more talked about how this is the third straight game where the opposite team could have had a penalty, and it not only was it not called, but it wasn't even checked at the VAR. And this is the third straight game, so now people are looking at them like, nah, host team advantage. But in the end, despite all of that, if you watch the game, you could clearly see that they were the better team on the field, and they handled business. They won. Cameroon got eliminated where they were supposed to get eliminated. This is Cameroon's level right now in Africa.
Good point. That's a good point.
Quarterfinalists is their level right now. If we're being honest, like, it would have been surprising to me if this Cameroon team made it to the semifinals. And in the game they lost Chamadil, who got injured and who was their captain and best player, or one of their best players. So it was there was no way at that point Cameroon was going to get one on Morocco. But yeah, now the real test will happen to Morocco when they face Nigeria. But overall, I think it was a well-deserved win, despite all the criticism with the referee or all that. I think they showed that they were the better team. Brahim Diaz is lethal, scoring goal after goal. El Kabi also either scores or assists every game. They're both doing fine. Now they got Hakimi, who's starting now. He's fully healthy. So yeah, they're handling their business right now.
Yeah, Morocco's definitely catching fire at the right time. This is scary for anybody to look to see in the tournament. We know how good they can be, and just like you said, Hakimi is fully fit now and back. That just adds another layer of defense and attack to their team. Another world-class player. Yeah, so yeah, this Morocco team definitely a force to be reckoned with. But our most exciting game probably of this quarterfinals was that Egypt versus Ivory Coast. Egypt ended up winning 3-2. Salah with that third goal to clinch their win. It ended up being the game winner as Ivory Coast came back and scored a second goal in like the 70th minute. This Egypt team, man, I told y'all this is my dark horse. I said from the jump, I think Salah has something to prove this tournament. With Marmoush playing in form as well, this Egypt team is just very, very strong right now. Poppy.
Hey,
my boy. Egypt. We going straight to you.
Egypt is doing Egypt things. I knew the game was over. After they scored first. One thing I learned watching AFCON since 2002 is, in an elimination game, never let Egypt score first. Never. You're not winning after they score first. I've never seen it happen. When they scored first, I knew it was over. Like, it was because this is a team that has no problem, letting you have the ball and defending, and you're not gonna face them. Like, this is what they do. And they scored early too. 4th minute, really nice goal from Marmoush. obviously Salah is doing a great AFCON so far as well. He's showing up. There were some doubts. I had doubts on him honestly, but he's proving me wrong. He's playing really well. And yeah, Ivory Coast did they got stunned early. They were shocked because they weren't expecting that goal so early.
I
So
agree.
they tried their best to come back. They really kept fighting though. They kept fighting because they kept scoring. Because Egypt went up 2-0 and then Ivory Coast came back 2-1 and then Egypt scored again and then they came back 3-2. But at that point, Egypt's defense is just very, very strong. I mean, when I watched them go down with 10 men against South Africa and South Africa was not able to score, that's when I knew this team was very good defensively. So, if they have 11 men and they play defense seriously, it's not going to be easy to score on them. And every player there is going to be involved. And this was a nice, Egypt and Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire, they have a lot of history in AFCON. They face each other a lot in AFCON. I've watched them play each other a lot in AFCONs. I remember in 2006 they played in the group stage and they played in the final as well. And fun fact, the two head coaches of Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire right now played each other in the 2006 games, and now they're head coaches.
Wow.
So
That's
that
great.
was a fun fact. Sam Hassan and Faye, So yeah, they know each other very well, and I was like you said, we expected it to be a very electrifying game, and it was. And Cote d'Ivoire tried their best, but Egypt just did the Egypt thing, man. They scored first, and they just kept pushing, and yeah.
I think one of the players to watch we talked about on one of our in studio sessions was Omar Mamouche, and I think he's proven
Bush is a good
himself.
striker, man.
He's actually proven himself this tournament.
I've been sleeping on him,
Um,
to be real.
yeah, I
everyone,
mean,
everyone has.
we,
Everyone has.
we've had a lot of
IPA.
I've
conversations
been
about
sleeping
Everyone
on him.
Mamouche on
has.
this pod. If you've been
Now,
following,
okay. Now he's good. Now he's good. Okay.
Oh,
Hey,
oh
continue,
God, no,
Mike.
but
Go
for
ahead.
real, though, for real. I think he's had a great tournament, and that to me was like the biggest thing I came away with from this game. The fact that he's actually, put himself on this team and taking the role and responsibility of being somewhat one of their main guys on the team has been impressive for me. But shout out to Ivory Coast, man. Defending champions, made it far enough, in my opinion, with the squad they have. I didn't think this was, one of their strongest squads in recent years, but guys
Agreed.
like Ahmad, showed himself in this tournament, that he can be depended on by his national team. So for me, I think, like you said with Cameroon, Ivory Coast made it as far as, they should have made it in this tournament. So
Hmm.
yeah, Egypt just took care of business, man. Egypt took care of business. We all knew how good they were. So our only question mark was, is Salah going to be the Salah we know? And he's proven it to us that, he still got the juice. So
Yeah.
I think overall, the game went the way it should have gone, and the better team won the game.
Like I was
I
actually gonna,
agree.
I was gonna ask the question: do we think that if you're, Ivorian, do you think that this is a little bit of a letdown, considering
Mm.
that you are the championship holders? A quarterfinal loss? I mean, you could take that and say, hey, we got to the knockout stages, we won a match, but being that they are the championship holders, you would think that within the locker room they expect to at least make it to the semifinals,
Absolutely.
if not get back to the finals. So do you think
Yeah, but
country this is it just luck of the draw, or is it doesn't matter who we see,
Yeah.
we should
I
still
mean,
be able.
this was a really good Egypt team, though. Like,
Mm.
this is, I hear you. Like, they're the defending champs, and like, obviously, you go into the tournament with like that sense of pride and wanting to, defend the title. But I mean, this is a really good Egypt team. To be honest with you, think that it's they could they could beat Morocco, in my opinion. Senegal would be tough, but I think that they could win in extra time if they needed to. I think this is a
Yes,
really good Egypt team.
you said this was a
Yeah,
really good Egypt team, but let's turn it to the other side.
Mm.
Compared to the team that won the last AFCON, is this Ivorian team even close to that team? I
Probably.
wouldn't say that they were. I
I
don't think
mean,
this team is as talented.
yeah,
they,
but they
There's
have,
a lot
yeah,
of
there's
young
a
guys, but they're not as talented. I feel like in every position like the last team was, or at least experienced. I'll also say.
I think experience is the big one.
Yeah. I feel like this team had a lot of young upcoming guys. They have some guys with talent, but apart from Zaha, the last team I felt like had some vets on the team that can actually, you know, change the game a little bit. Ahmad did a great job throughout the tournament, but I just didn't think they had enough against Egypt.
yeah. I mean, the last Cote d'Ivoire team had guys like Aurier, Pepe,
Yeah.
Adingra.
Hmm.
All these guys didn't make it to this Cote d'Ivoire team, and context matters too. I mean, yeah, they're the defending champs, but let's not forget how they won the AFCON last year.
I mean, yeah,
It wasn't
it was
like
close. It
they
was
didn't
close.
they didn't run rampant on the continent. They literally qualified with 3 points. They had two losses in their group stage.
A fired
Um,
manager.
you know, yeah, fired the manager during the AFCON, literally during the AFCON, during the group stage, they fired the manager, and it was a miracle that they somehow qualified. And then at that point, they just kept playing hope. It was like all or nothing. Let's
Yeah,
put all the
that's
chips,
fun. Yeah,
and they were at home, and they kept running on momentum. But they were never the favorites for this
no,
AFCON,
they were never.
so. I feel like I know a couple of guys from Cote d'Ivoire. They're not that disappointed because they knew deep down
Yeah,
that they weren't
yeah,
they weren't among the four best teams in Africa right now. They knew that. So obviously they expected to go further, but I don't think this is like a big disappointment for them considering how that they're aware of their team, considering the absent players that they've had, and also they made it to the World Cup. So I think they're fine.
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, that's a great point, especially because they will be in the World Cup, and I think this
Yeah.
was a good audition for guys like the young guys you guys were talking about. Diomande, Doué's brother, he scored actually in the last game too.
He did, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Doué, the striker that plays for Aston Villa, Gusand. Like I
And
don't know
Ina
why.
Olai
Like
too.
yeah, yeah,
Olai
for sure.
play. He's
Yeah,
currently the sensation player.
right. I mean, yeah, he's at a good tournament from start to
Yeah.
finish. But then, like, you add some of those guys. Like, I don't know why Adingra and I mean Haller's out, but like some of the other guys, maybe Sergio Aurier. Okay, you could leave him off. But but no, I think more than anything, I think this was a good audition for the young guys, and you could probably look at this tournament and say, hey, these 4 or 5 guys, they're definitely have a strong case to make the tournament next summer.
With Adingra, they said it was because he lacked some playing time with Sunderland. That's why
Right.
they didn't call him up.
Yeah,
So
but I mean,
ironic that he's playing more now that the guy in front
Yeah,
of
yeah,
him
he's
was,
definitely
it's
playing.
so funny.
I think he's gonna make it for the World Cup. I think he's gonna make the list for the
Yeah,
World
he
Cup.
should.
yeah,
He
you
should.
definitely should.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like you had to see what you had in the other young guys, though. Diomande,
I think-
I think, yeah, I would take him at United. He's good.
I mean, he's
Yeah,
one of the biggest names talked about in Europe right now. Diamante.
Yeah, another Leipzig just flip.
Fine.
Facts.
Crazy. We need to have a conversation about that. Like, who are the biggest flippers? Like, there's some big ones.
Hmm.
We don't have to get into it now. Let's save it. Let's save it. Stop it.
No, that's a good
Yeah.
yeah. Hold
There's
that.
some big
Hold-
ones. Some
Yeah,
big
no,
ones.
hold that one. That's a great question. But to get into our last quarterfinal match, we had Algeria versus Nigeria. Oshiman, man, he's been putting on a tournament 2-0 to Nigeria. They were, before the game, there were rumors that they weren't even gonna play. Talking about it, the Federation don't give us our
I
bonus.
told you, man. I told
Always,
you
man.
that was not gonna happen.
Shout out to Wilfred and Didi who said, "I'll take the money out of my own pocket. Just give my people the playing time."
Yeah, I feel it.
But seriously, this Nigeria team, I think I mean, we said this at the beginning of the tournament. This team has something to prove. They did not qualify for the World Cup, so this is the only international tournament that they have until the next AFCON. There was a lot of rumors coming out of the camp about some, a little bit of Osimhen and Lookman. Are they getting along? Is Osimhen going to leave the tournament? All these rumors are popping up, but
I think
at the end of the day, they took care of business. And I think that, this team is one of those teams that they hear the rumors. Nigeria is always one of the most talked about African countries because, Nigerians, they think they're holier than thou. So there's always some little diva that's coming out of the camp or, there's always something going on with Nigeria, the Super Eagles. But this team looks solid, man. Shout out to Alex Iwobi, just controlling most of these matches that he's in, just single-handedly being that player in the midfield to win the ball back, break lines. I think I saw something that he has like 47 passes that have broken lines in this AFCON tournament, more than any other player on his team. He's balling right now. And so we got to shout out Nigeria a little bit. How do y'all feel about, them punching their ticket in the semifinals? And how do we feel about them, getting to the finals? This team looks great right now. I would say they have a lot of momentum their way as well.
Definitely the best attacking team. Go ahead, Salah.
No. Go ahead. You took the words right out of my mouth. Go ahead.
Definitely the best attacking team. Lookman and Osimhen. Bro, I am so impressed with Osimhen's game, like in terms of like headers.
Like though. I feel like he's definitely
he's a different striker, bro. Like it's like I've seen it all, but this guy somehow he keeps impressing me with his play. Like, they're lethal. And Nigeria is very unpredictable. Now, yeah, they didn't qualify for the World Cup, but we all know what happened. They changed coaches 3 times in those World Cup qualifiers. They literally fired 2 coaches within the World Cup qualifiers. By the time Eric Schell came, it was already kind of too late, And the guy told y'all why he lost was because of voodoo. They didn't believe him. Right now, he kind of looks like he was right. The game Nigeria is playing right now is very, 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 very impressive. And I'll touch on Nigeria later, but I want to talk about Algeria for a second here. So you play Congo in the round 16, which was the most anticipated game in the round 16, right? You win with a sensational goal in the 119th minute, literally 1 minute before the PKs. We were all expecting PKs, and out of nowhere comes this crazy goal, right? And you're playing Nigeria, and you can't even have a shot on target, not one. Yes. For 90 minutes, these guys didn't have a single shot on target. Like, Nigeria walked them down
like
for
Liverpool.
90 minutes. Bro, like, come on, Salam.
Like Liverpool.
Bro.
Imagine.
Like to me, this is like Uganda played Nigeria and they scored a goal. Tanzania played Nigeria and they scored a goal. You couldn't have a shot on target against Nigeria.
Shout out Nigeria and Tanzania.
Uganda, man, like these teams, Uganda didn't even make it out the group stage, bro. And they scored a goal against Nigeria. Tanzania had like 2 points. They scored a goal against Nigeria. Here comes Algeria right after beating Congo, which was a dark horse in this tournament. So you beat Congo, everybody's excited about you. You come out and you can't even have a shot on target. You can't seem to do anything right for 90 minutes. And then the game is over and you're complaining about refereeing. Your players are attacking the ref. The journalists are fighting other journalists backstage. The fans are about to invade the pitch. Like, who are you blaming for this? Blame yourself, bro. Like, you couldn't do anything right. You can blame the ref for like penalties. You can blame the ref for, red cards or whatever. But 0 shots on target, that's not on the ref, bro. And even that penalty wasn't a penalty because we know the rules. If the ball touches a part of your body before touching your hand, that can't be a penalty, according to what I know from the rules. So that's not even relevant for them to complain about. But the game is over and their fans are trying to invade the pitch. They're somehow mad at Morocco. You are playing Nigeria. How are you mad at Morocco after losing against Nigeria, bro? They're talking about like, yeah, Morocco, as if like Morocco was deciding these games. Like it's
They
not
feel
like
like
Morocco.
Morocco is not trying to see them for, but
Yeah,
you
but
don't know.
these referees are selected by CAF. It's not even the host that's like Morocco has
Mhm.
nothing to do with this.
But
But like
but
they're
didn't that
complaining about all these petty things. I think it's not class. Yeah, I mean, the AFCON had a lot of teams. All these teams lost. They all went home peacefully. You're the first team to lose, and you want to start stuff, man. Like I
that
don't get it.
privilege, man? Is that
If you want to
privilege?
blame, if you want to blame somebody, blame yourself. Petkovic ball didn't work. I'm a big fan of Petkovic because he turned this Algeria team around. He definitely transformed it, and you know, again, 0 shots on target. They couldn't seem to do anything right. Like they were non-existent during the whole game. I don't know if it's them that were that bad or if it's Nigeria that was that good.
No,
No,
I think
Nigeria is great.
I wanted to say on both ends before I get into Nigeria. I was sad for Mahrez because this is going to be his last tournament. And African
Yeah.
legend, bro. He's won the AFCON too, so for that to be his last game, it was just like, damn, man, like that kind of sucked. But on the flip side, I don't know, man. I think Nigeria, like they've had a few guys like really step up. Like we've always known that they were kind of good. The first person I was going to say was Iwobi. I feel like Iwobi had a great game versus
He did.
Algeria, and I mean a great game all tournament. And then the second one, Gabriel said this in our in-studio sessions, but yo, Calvin Bassey, wow, he's had a great tournament, bro.
A great shot by
And honestly, he's another guy that I'm like, yo, you could be playing like Champions League nights. I don't know for who, but like
For sure.
you are a good player, bro. Definitely. And if you with a solid partner, I think that like, yeah, bro, he could definitely be on a bigger team than Fulham. Like, there's no way that he stays there this summer. But no, I think those guys, and I mean, look, what's his name? Lookman, I feel like has had a good tournament. Osimhen's had a good tournament, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of things have just clicked for them. And I mean, I don't know. This is I won't say it because we're gonna do the semifinal preview, but yeah, I mean, shout out to Nigeria, man. Great.
I know you were asking if if it was Nigeria playing that well, or Algeria just not, or Algeria playing that bad. I just think Nigeria's they've been waiting for 6 years, man.
Yeah.
After that Mahrez free kick, they've been waiting for 6 years for this game.
Yeah.
So I think Nigeria
That
woke
game
up
was
for this
crazy.
game. Algeria just thought that maybe they just had it in the bag. Nigeria was ready for this game. You can tell they wanted this game more. And I think that was the difference, And shout out Osimhen. He was one of my players to watch in our own studio as well. I said it in our segment that I wanted to see him actually take control of this team, lead this team. You be the face of this team, and the face of the face of your team in this tournament. And I think he's done that because I've had some beef with him recently with how he's been playing. But I think he's stepped it up immensely. He stepped it up, and not only is he scoring, he's assisting as well. So
yeah,
I want to give him a shout out.
Great assist today to Alcar. I mean, great finish on his part too. But yeah. Bro.
Yeah,
So,
man.
Semifinals. We previewing the semifinals.
Yeah, let's get down to it. We got to talk about Poppy's team since he's here first. So once again, we have our semifinal matches all ready to go. January 14th, both matches. We have Senegal versus Egypt. Poppy, predictions.
Another classic. We play our beloved Egyptian friends once again. Another classic. In my lifetime, I've watched Senegal and Egypt play in an AFCON 3 times. We played them in 2002 group stage. Senegal won. We played them in the 2022 final where Senegal won in PKs. When we played them also in 2006, one of the craziest AFCON games I've ever watched.
Was it in Ghana? Was that in Ghana?
It was in Egypt. It was in Cairo.
Okay.
Stadium
Stadium 2010.
100% packed stadium. By the way, that game we were robbed of that game. The referee was banned for life after that game because yeah, he denied a clear penalty for Senegal in the like 89th minute or something. But yeah, so last time Senegal played Egypt in a semifinal, Senegal lost. But the last time Senegal played Egypt, period, Senegal won. And the last time Senegal played Egypt in an AFCON, Senegal won not only the game but the trophy. And over the last 4 years, Senegal has been beating Egypt in literally anything. You name the sport: volleyball, football, basketball, beach soccer, whatever. So there's a lot of confidence right now. But regarding this particular game, all of that aside, it's going to be a very, very difficult game. There's one thing that you never do in football, in African football, is that you don't sleep on Egypt because they're Egypt. They're seven-time champions for a reason. They know how to negotiate and win a game, no matter what opponent they have, and no matter how weak their squad is, they can figure it out. So this game is to be taken very seriously. And Egypt doesn't have a problem playing 120 minutes. They don't have that problem. They can do it back to back to back. They're used to doing that, you know. So this is going to be a tough game. Definitely, they're going to come out. I'm talking about the Egyptians here. They're going to come out wanting to take some revenge because Senegal has beaten them twice in the last two times we played. Senegal cost them the AFCON, and Senegal also cost them a qualification to the World Cup in 2022. So I know that they still didn't get over that, and I know that they want, to get, a revenge, on Senegal, and it's going to be a very tough game. I think this is a game that the coach will have to win. This is the challenge will be on the coaches here. This is going to be a very tactical game, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, Senegal has the best talent. We have on paper the best team, and we should win. And I think it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to go over 90 minutes, but I think Senegal is going to win this game.
You got a score prediction?
Score prediction. I'd say 1-0 for Senegal. I'd say 1-0 for Senegal. Yeah.
That's an unsure answer. 1-0. I feel you. It could be 2-0, but I'm honestly, man, and I hate to say this because I love watching the Senegal team. I don't know what it is, man, but I think Egypt is going to win this game. I just have a feeling Egypt's going to win. And Senegal, like you said, is the best team. That was my pick to win it in the beginning, but I don't know, man. I'm seeing, I'm catching different vibes from the Egyptians this year, man. Yeah.
Never sleep on Egypt, man.
I want to see Morocco, Senegal. I really want to see that. But in this matchup, I'm going with Senegal, man. Egypt, from the last two games that I've seen from them, they've really impressed me. But this Senegal team is too organized for me. They just have it together. They just seemed too mature for me to break down this late of the tournament. So yeah, I'm going with Senegal.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Senegal has, other than the first two games against Botswana and Congo, every other game it's a different lineup. Like that's how deep we are. Every other game we've played, there's been changes in the lineup.
But that could be an Achilles heel though, because
it could.
Everyone's playing well. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes
it could.
Well,
but the way I see it is that the reason why I say it's going to be a tactical game regarding the coaches is that the Egyptian coach is not go. He doesn't know who is going to start. Like he can't tell because we've been changing so much. He can't tell. But what he knows is that no matter who plays, it's going to be tough for them because we're that deep, But at the same time, this Egypt team feels different, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not very confident about this game, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
My last
It's-
question.
No, they do.
My last question is it far-fetched to say the best player in this matchup is on Egypt?
you think? Do you think Salah so far is having a better AFCON than Sadio Mane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I
I
think
hate
the
to say it,
Wow.
goals,
but I think so.
because of the
Wow.
goals, yeah. But I think
Wow.
Mane's had this Senegal team together.
No,
I,
for
I
real.
think,
Like, yeah, what you can't see the things that he like brings. I understand that, but
yeah.
like I just think
Yes.
pick him to score against Senegal.
I feel like
No,
I feel
I feel
like
like the
Egypt's
way,
style, Egypt's style so far in this AFCON is like either they score first and they let you have the ball, or they still let you have the ball and let you make a mistake and then they score.
Right.
Whereas Senegal is always dominant. So I feel like we've seen more football from Senegal than we've seen from Egypt. And Sadio Mane has 1 goal and 3 assists, if I'm not mistaken, in this AFCON so far. I don't know. I look.
I just think this Egypt team was not what we expected to see. I think they've definitely blew all of our expectations of, the type of team they can be. And if there's any team that can catch you slipping, I think it'll be this team. But like I said, you guys, I haven't seen. Yes, you've played games where I felt like you could have been better, but just mistakes are not happening with this Senegalese team, man. I feel like they're very organized. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's definitely a very disciplined team
Yeah.
defensively. We concede very rarely, and even when we concede, it's usually a mistake, you know.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think the only issue right now with the Senegal team is we miss too many chances. That's it. Like you go back and you watch the Senegal games, and you can literally say that they could have won each game easily 4-0 or 5-0
Yeah.
each game, you know.
Mhm.
But then, of course, like it's AFCON. Sometimes sometimes 1-0 is all you can do, and that's enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a tough game, man. I expect it to be a lot of yellow cards. I'm not even going to be surprised if there's a red card. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be physical for sure.
Yeah.
Senegal and Egypt, whenever we clash, it's tough. But in the end, I think this is what I've said this is what I've said after the quarterfinal. I mean, after the round 16. In African football, what we've been lacking for at least for as long as I've been watching is great quality pitches, great stadiums. And in this AFCON, we have European level stadiums. And guess what? All the small teams got exposed and all the big teams made it far. Like, big teams are finding, because this is what used to happen. All these big teams weren't able to show their real football, because the stadiums weren't, the pitches weren't, really, top level, top notch level. And in this AFCON, again, shout out to Morocco. They've been great hosts. The stadiums are impeccable. And we've been seeing the big teams finally show their real football. And this is why you have quarterfinals where all the big teams are in the last 8, and at the end of the day, if it comes to football, I feel like Senegal plays better football than Egypt. So I think that's our advantage here in this match. But anything can happen, man. Anything can happen, honestly.
Okay. What about that other matchup? Who we got?
Yeah. So we had Morocco.
Nigeria.
Yeah, Morocco versus Nigeria in the other semifinals. Who y'all got?
Oh, well, yeah, unfortunately, the train stops here, Nigeria. Yeah, man.
Wow.
I feel like this Morocco team's humming, and I think the home field advantage, that 12th man's gonna carry him, bro. It's really hard to pick against this Moroccan team. Even though, to what I was saying earlier, there's a lot of guys that have been balling all tournament for Nigeria. I just don't see them being able to beat Morocco on their home soil. I just don't see it. I think this team, the fans are going to will this team to the final, 100%, bro. And like we were talking about earlier, like the best player in the tournament is on Morocco, and that's Brahim Diaz.
Hey, I I think okay, so this is I'm even as a Senegalese, I'm more excited about the Nigeria Morocco game than the Senegal Egypt game because I feel like it's going to be some really beautiful football. But I think Nigeria wins this game. I think I think Morocco hasn't really been convincing enough to me. And heading into this game, I feel like normally Morocco is on paper, the number one ranked country in Africa. They have the reigning African Ballon d'Or on their team. They are the host of this tournament. They have, arguably the best player of the tournament so far on their team. So everything is looking great for them, right? But I feel like heading into this game, they have more pressure than Nigeria because nobody was expecting Nigeria. People forgot about Nigeria. People forgot Nigeria was a finalist in the last AFCON. Like they literally made it to the final in the last
Yeah,
AFCON.
good
Just
point.
because they didn't make it, just because they didn't make it to the World Cup, people forget. People kind of slept on them because they didn't make it to the World Cup. They didn't. People didn't even think about Nigeria getting this far. But I think in this AFCON, if I'm not mistaken, they've scored more goals than anybody in Nigeria. I think they've scored more than Senegal even. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check. But they've scored a lot of goals. Um, and right now, all the pressure is on Morocco. You're the host. You have the Ballon d'Or, the African Ballon d'Or. You have the best player. The ref is supposedly on your side. So you have every advantage to win. And Nigeria is just gonna come there and they're just gonna let you play with pressure, and they're just gonna do their thing. They've been convincing on all their games. They've been scoring a lot of goals. I think Lukman and Oshiman are right now the best duo in this AFCON. They're the best attacking pair in this AFCON. And I think Morocco is gonna play pressure football, and I think Nigeria is just gonna come out relaxed, and they're just gonna play naturally. And I think at the end, Nigeria catches them slipping. So I have Nigeria winning this game personally.
I'm gonna go Morocco, man. Even though I felt like they've had some shaky games, I'm gonna go Morocco. I think I don't know, Nigeria. I didn't expect them to look this good in this tournament. They've looked pretty good, but I like the way Morocco plays. I think they're very balanced. Um, I don't know if Nigeria has faced a team, quite as you know quite as deep as Morocco is. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I just don't see Nigeria beating Morocco. For me, it'll be
They
an upset if Nigeria beats Morocco because I
they just look
just
so
it just
menacing
looks
though.
too
They
good.
look so menacing. Like Nigeria looks like, I don't know. I feel like the fact that they lost the last AFCON final and they didn't qualify for the World Cup, I think like they're mad about it. Like they're playing like they're
They're
really mad about that.
definitely,
And
yeah,
they
they're
better be.
definitely on a
They're
run. They have some
yeah,
momentum
like
right now. But who would you say? Who would you say Nigeria's played so far in the tournament that would have at least been at their level to say that okay, they've played a tough opponent? Because I'm looking at some of the
Nigeria.
teams they
um
played. I'm like, they've really been better than every team they've played. This would be like the first real team or first real test, I'll say. And I don't know if they got enough for this Moroccan team.
I mean, Algeria, you can say
Oh,
Algeria, but
okay,
then
okay.
again, after what
Algeria,
we've seen,
Algeria.
after what we've seen, after what we've seen, it's hard now to say that because,
They beat them.
zero shots on target,
Mhm.
totally one-sided game. It's now hard to say that, but maybe, hey, maybe that tells us how great Nigeria is because
Okay,
I
you
mean,
could
we've
say
we've
that.
seen we've seen we've seen Algeria and Congo. This is the Congo team that Senegal couldn't beat, right? This is the Congo
Right,
team that
right.
Senegal couldn't beat. This is the Congo team that beat Nigeria in the
Nigeria,
in the World
exactly. I was
Cup
just going to say that. Yep.
qualifiers. They literally beat Nigeria like 2 months ago. With the same coach too.
Mhm.
So you know, and Algeria beat that Congo team, and Nigeria destroyed that Algeria team. Then again, football is about matchups, but
Yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't look at it as who did Nigeria beat that is on Morocco's level. I would more look at it as, how is Nigeria going to show up against Morocco? I feel like it's going to be a game where they know that, everything is at a disadvantage. They know that the ref is not going to be friendly to them. They know that the stadium is going to be packed. They know this. So I think we're going to see a game like, I don't know. Yeah, I remember Italy versus Germany World Cup semifinal 06.
Yeah.
Remember that? Italy beating Germany.
When
Nobody
Germany
expected
hosted,
that. Yeah.
Del Piero scored in the last minute. Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a similar game, man. I think we're going to see.
What was it? Is it
Or
Materazzi who scored that winner or some
it
shit?
was Del Piero scored. I don't remember who else scored. I don't know if it was Iaquinta or something, but yeah. And I will say this though: if they go to PKs, then Morocco wins because I think Morocco has the best goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no.
yeah, if they go to PKs, I think then it would be
World class.
it would be a different game. But yeah, if Nigeria wants to win this game, I think they should try to win it, in the game, like in the 90 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Great AFCON talk, man. Once again, January 14th, we have both of our semifinal matches. Make sure you guys are tapping in. I mean, general consensus just from around the round table today. This AFCON tournament, man, it's been very exciting. It's been fun to watch. And Poppy, one thing that you said that really stuck out with me was, the quality of the pitches. I feel like we've all, as Africans, been talking about. We just need the quality to be there, and you will see true quality on the field. And for the first time,
Exactly.
like you said, the favorites are getting through. Albeit, we're seeing goals on both sides. But
Yeah.
the teams that are the better teams are getting through, and it's not by because they're getting unlucky on the pitch or we're seeing injuries or anything like that. We kind of forget that the pitch needs to be well kept to prevent injuries as well, because that's a big thing that we've seen in
Exactly.
previous tournaments. I feel like we've seen less injuries this tournament, which is huge, especially since these guys are mid-season with their clubs. They have to go back. There's no real breaks. So it's been good to watch, man. The quality has been there. The entertainment has been there. And now that we're down to, the deep stage of this tournament, it's going to be good to see, these teams fight it out, because some of these teams will be, fighting in the World Cup come this summer. So it was good for the AFCON, man. This has been a great AFCON. Really good to watch.
And Morocco is being candidates to host it again for 2027. And I said, let them. I don't care if they host it right now. Let them host it as many times as they want. Like, we don't care. This is gonna be pressure on other countries to do good if they want to host.
Absolutely.
I don't care if Morocco hosts it 3 times straight. Like, let the countries that have the capacities to host these tournaments, let them host it as many times as they want. Nothing is going wrong. They have great pitches. Nobody's complaining about the hotels. Nobody's complaining about the training facilities. Nobody's complaining about the food in the hotels. Like, everything is great, man. This is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to rate everybody else's game too, because over time, obviously, maybe not as quick as others, but like over time, I think this is good for the whole continent, soccer wise, football wise.
Yeah.
Like, at some points, like, that's what we want to try and emulate, and and it's no, like you guys said, I feel they've done a great job of just the presentation product. All of it has been probably as best as it's ever been.
It's I personally haven't seen anything better than this. Me personally, I've been watching since 2002.
This would go down as one of the best, and
they're
just off of facilities. I agreed with you, even without the tournament happening, because we haven't seen this yet at the AFCON. So
yeah,
they're
currently building a stadium. They're currently building a stadium with like 120,000 capacity for the World Cup in 2030, because they're hosting the World Cup as well with Portugal. And and
the three
yeah,
cities,
and
I
like
believe.
Spain, I think Spain, Portugal.
and Spain, yeah, Spain, Portugal, and them, and this
Wow.
shows, it's going to be the biggest stadium in the world, apparently.
Yeah.
So in terms of capacity, that is. So shout out Morocco, man. They're doing it, and this is like you said, this is how we're gonna see great football from these teams. We are
Mhm.
tired of seeing teams come with a great squad,
Yeah.
but then the pitch is bad and these players, and every AFCON you ask yourself, how come this play, like, how many times have we said, why doesn't Drogba play this well in Cote
Yeah.
d'Ivoire, but he plays this well in Chelsea? Why
Yeah,
is
even
Eto'o so
Even
good?
Salah last tournament. Salah was
Yeah.
looking
Bro,
a
like,
little.
Yeah.
like all the AFCONs that I've watched, everybody's like, how come these players are playing so great with their clubs, but they can't do it here? And a lot of people are like, well, because their teammates there is better. Yeah, they have great teammates there, but they have great teammates here
Conditions.
too.
Yeah.
It's
The
the pitch,
field
bro. Like,
conditions. Yeah. It's
if you're
been
used
bad.
to playing on top-notch fields, top-notch pitches in Europe for like a whole year or 2 years, and then here comes the AFCON and the pitches are bad, bro, you're not going to
It
see
makes
a
a
good level of
difference,
football.
man. It
It
makes a
makes a big
difference.
difference.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes you see big teams not be able to qualify for the bro. Senegal played Sudan in Sudan. Their pitch is like synthetic. It's not even real grass, right?
Hey, come
So
on,
Senegal,
man. Come on, man.
Senegal is like
Don't do us like that.
is struggling. Senegal is
Going through a
struggling
lot,
to score a
man.
goal. No, no disrespect to Sudan, but Senegal is struggling to score a goal.
Yeah.
And
Real tough.
same match, Senegal Sudan in Dakar, we beat them 2-0. Same match, Senegal Sudan in Morocco last week, we beat them 3-1. What does that tell you? It tells you that
Y'all
the
need to
pitch
get it
makes
out
a
the mud.
difference.
Y'all what the heck?
Come on, man. Like
The
we've
mystery,
been seeing it
man.
happen a lot. Even Nigeria, like the fact that they didn't qualify for the World Cup, they've played a lot of games against teams where the pitches were terrible, and they couldn't play well. But you can't really always use that as an excuse because the pitch is the same for both teams, right? It's not just one team that's playing on the bad pitch. Both teams are. Except if these guys are more accustomed and used to that, it's an advantage for them, But hey, shout out to Morocco. I say let them host it as many times as they want. I don't care. We want to see great football, and this is what they offer.
Yeah, man. And shout out to all the, Moroccans that have been commenting on our posts because I had to look up what this meant, but Dima Maghreb. It means long live Morocco. So shout out to everybody that's been posting Dima Maghreb on our posts. I learned something new this AFCON. You always gotta learn something new. Keep
You
learning.
You do. Oh, and
yeah,
before we move on, to another topic, I almost forgot. I wanted to talk about this. I could have talked about it in the shout out, but I'll just say it now. Like African coaches, man. We so in the quarterfinals, six out of the 8 countries that were in the quarterfinals were coached by African coaches. Only Mali and I believe Algeria had foreigners, but all the other teams had African coaches. And right now in these semifinals, all 4 countries have African coaches. You have Shell in Nigeria, Chiao in Senegal, Morocco with Redragi, and Egypt, Hassan. So this is also a good thing for African football because growing up, it was rare to see even like 4 or 5 African coaches coaching African teams because people didn't trust them, And now, at this stage, it's the opposite. It's you see less teams with foreign coaches than African coaches. Like almost all the teams have African coaches, and these are the teams that make it to World Cups, and these are the teams that make it to AFCON semifinals. And this is a good thing to me for African football because it shows that the knowledge is here, the capacity is here. These guys, they know what they're doing, and the teams that are trusting their teams with African coaches are not regretting it because they're the ones that are winning for the most part. So shout out to all of them. And yeah, I think that's also a great thing for African football, and it shows in this AFCON.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for bringing that up. I mean, we were just on here a couple of weeks ago talking about the lack of African American coaches that we see in our domestic league and around the world. So the fact that we're seeing African coaches do this on a world stage,
Yeah.
you know, it only goes to show that there's talent everywhere. And, like we said, you bring diversity to some of these teams and it helps. But at the end of the day, we do need to look all across the world for, the top talent. And you can find them anywhere, even in Africa. So shout out.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. But yeah, man, being in Morocco, if you go up, a little geography lesson, if you go up through the Strait of Gibraltar, you get to Spain. And then you go up north from Spain to France. And then you have to cross another body of water to get to England. But yeah, man, FA Cup.
Angleterre.
The FA Cup is well and underway. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the UK, man. England has had a lot of noise in these last few weeks, primarily due to Chelsea and Manchester United sacking their managers in the new year. So I want to start with Chelsea because we already did appoint our new manager, Liam Rosenior. Few interviews he's done this week. And, I was talking to Mike on the side, but through all the ups and downs, I'm not really mad at our manager because there's only so much he could do. It's the board that's been making all of these decisions. And so I want to back the guy. Only Chelsea's second black manager ever in history, behind Ruud Gilt, who was a player manager back, I believe, in like the early 90s, mid 90s there for Chelsea. But second black manager. For those who don't know, his dad, Leroy Rosenior, also did play in the Premier League back in the day for a few clubs. So this is football heritage. At the end of the day, this is a guy who's played in the Premier League, whose dad played in the Premier League, who's now coaching in the Premier League. So you got to give him a little bit of respect there. Obviously, he's a young guy. Obviously, he hasn't been at the top level for long, most recently at Strasbourg over in Ligue 1. But, I just want to go ahead and say who his coaching team is. So Liam Rosenior, head coach. Callum McFarlane, who was our caretaker for the last week or so, has actually been brought up to be one of the assistants for Liam. Justin Walker is another one of his assistants, English guy. Khalifa Cisse, another one of his assistants from France. Ben Warner is going to be an analyst. He's also English. And then we have Bernardo Cueva, who's going to be a set-piece expert, and he's Mexican. So, again, diverse background on this coaching staff. I don't know too much about these other guys, but obviously I'll do my homework in, these weeks to go. But, Mike, we got to see him this week, in our FA Cup match. Obviously, we got the win this weekend. But, just how do you feel about the appointment of Liam? We knew it was coming, obviously, after hearing all the rumblings this last week. But having seen him manage a match, having seen him, in a few trainings and a few interviews, what's your overall thought on the guy?
A few weeks ago, I was saying that, we're tired. Well, last week I was saying we're tired as fans, as Chelsea fans. We're tired of this, the rug getting pulled from under us every time it seems like things are becoming a little stable. We got it with Tuchel, we got it with Pochettino, and we just got it not too long ago with Enzo Maresca. This Liam was senior guy. I didn't know too much of him. I know of him when he was at Strasbourg because of the Chelsea relation, but I didn't really know his background like that. This week he was able to give his first press conference, and I'm telling you, if you can win trophies from press conference, we already got one. but I like the energy. As a Chelsea fan, I've seen it all. Jose Mourinho was our manager. I've seen it all. I've seen a manager that can sit on the podium and talk the talk and then back it up. I've seen it all. So if you're going to talk the way he spoke at his press conference, hey, I'm going to have to see it on the pitch as well. And from everything he said, there were rumors that, Maresca wasn't picking the team and, somebody else was picking the team. But finally, he came out saying that I'm going to be in charge. I'm picking the team. He talked his talk. We played Charlton, 5-1 win. But for me, it's Charlton in a relegation battle in the lower division. it's Charlton. I felt like we should have scored a little bit more, but overall, I like the way he set us up. The guys that we saw play this past weekend in the FA Cup are not the guys that are going to be playing with in the Arsenal game. But I saw the identity. I saw what he was trying to do. We're back to the back three, which Tuchel loved, and we looked good when Tuchel played in that formation. I think we've always looked good in the back three. Going back to what's his name? Antonio Conte. When he came that year, switched everything up. We ended up winning, the Premier League and an FA Cup. But I'm telling you, I like what I see with this guy. I like a guy that can talk the talk. But we saw it with Amorim. He came in, talked the talk. He couldn't walk the walk. But if you're going to talk like that, you're gonna have to walk the walk. But the only thing we can do as fans is to support him, back him, support the team, because these guys are not the ones making the decisions. It's the board that's making these decisions that eventually end up affecting these guys on the pitch. So as fans, I think we should just back them, do as much as we can to make them know that they have our support, at least from the fan base. But yeah, he showed me that you can actually get a decent win against a bad side, if you want to say that, without even playing your main guys. So that's a positive. I mean, we can walk away with. But overall, even though I got excited in the press conference, I just got to see it on the field. You took care of business with Charlton. Arsenal is up next. Now I want to see what we look like. But overall, I'm not too upset, because what are you going to do? The board has made his decision. He's came out and said it in his press conference that he's going to be picking the team. So I hope we don't have some of these issues with, who's picking the team and how much interference does the board and the front office have, within the day-to-day squad picking. So we'll see what happens, man. But I like the guy. I like the guy.
Question for both of you. As fans, are you looking to judge him on this season, or are you waiting for next season to judge him, or do you expect that he won't be here next season? Like, what are you looking at here in terms of like what's your expectations for him?
What was it? Was it a 5 or 7 year deal? I can't remember what it was, but the contract is a long contract. So
okay.
Whether we want or not, I feel like this is the guy they've picked that they want to move forward with. So we just have to back him. I personally feel like this core group of guys have been together long enough that it shouldn't take you too long, into getting your message across. Why am I saying that? Because if this was a team that you're coming into with hodgepodge of players that have been here maybe half the year, players just came in, I can understand players still trying to find their footing within the team. But this team, pretty much most of the guys know their role. The starters know that they're starters. The role players know that they're role players. Now it's up to you to convince this new manager to maybe switch, their perspective on you. So, but in my opinion, I expect him to at least get a good result out of this team. Like, you should be able to get top four, in my opinion. You've proven to me with your old team that you know how to coach young guys. So we being, this squad being a pretty young team, I think you should be able to still have a way of getting something out of this team. So I'm not going to just leave it to next season. No, I still think there's a lot of games left that we should be able to get some results out of this squad. So I don't know how Cornelius feels, but that's what I feel.
I've talked to Mike a little bit about this, and I don't really have high expectations for him. Like I said, I believe it was a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. We were, fifth place, I believe, at the time, a few points off of top four. We're still in FA Cup. We're still in the Carabao Cup. We're still in Champions League. So Chelsea was in a great spot with a great manager in 4 competitions that I fully believe that we can go and compete in 2, if not 3 of these. Domestically, I think we should come home with a trophy this year. I don't see why we can't. FA Cup and Carabao are up for grabs. Within Europe, we'll see. I mean, this Chelsea team has a lot to prove. Our Champions League campaign has been up and down. So we beat Barcelona, but we lost to was it Atalanta?
Atlanta, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
Are you telling me you're expecting a Champions League win?
In 2021, no one was expecting Chelsea to make it to the finals. We had a new manager.
That was COVID. That doesn't count.
How does it not count? We were in.
I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm kidding.
We were a worse team on paper with a worse situation on paper, and we went and we won a Champions League. So I don't see how that doesn't count.
But I mean, different format of Champions League and different situation. But yeah,
it was a similar situation in 2012 though, because what's his name? Andres Villas-Boas got sacked.
Andres Villas-Boas gets sacked.
Okay,
no, I'm talking about the situation in terms of like how how there was COVID and then there was a different formality in terms of how the Champions League is played compared to now, where it's different.
You can say it was the bubble.
It was the bubble.
It was COVID. You can say it was whatever.
Hey, it don't count for bronze.
No. Hey, what deserved? I just want to know if you are right now with this Chelsea team expecting a Champions League win.
Listen, let me land. So, like I said, we were in a great spot, being in 4 competitions with a great manager.
Okay.
At the turn of the year, we have a new manager after already being in a dip of form for Chelsea. So for me, I don't expect him to go win Champions League. For me, the rest of this season is let's see what you can do, because I have no idea who this manager is. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch him at Strasbourg. I don't know his tactics based on what he wants to do with this current crop of players. Because the players he had at Strasbourg, yes, they were the youngest team in Europe, I believe. Here, we're still a young team, but obviously the talent level is leaps and bounds from what he had at Strasbourg. So now it's show me who you are. Show me what you want to do. Show me how you want to play. You told me you want to come out and within the first 10, 15 minutes score a goal and have the fans off their feet. You want to play this direct, attacking, high-paced football. Cool. Show me that. Like, if that's what you're telling me out the gate, then I already know that I have to, bring down my expectations a little bit, because this isn't football that we've seen Chelsea do in the last 18 months. So for me, I have to see him get his point across as a manager to the players and see if the players are receptive. Now, if the players aren't receptive to that type of football, now I need to see, are you able to pivot, or are you just going to be stubborn and try to get your point across these next 4 or 5 months? We have competitions that, as Chelsea fans, I think we still expect to go win the FA or Carabao Cup. We're getting deep in these competitions. We're in the semifinal for the Carabao. Yeah, I know that we see Arsenal, but this is something that we still expect as Chelsea fans. So for me, I'm not expecting much. I truly am going to give him these next 4 or 5 months to be a honeymoon phase / show me who you are, bro. Because I know what Maresca was, because he showed me through a full year who he could be. I wasn't that keen on Maresca and his tactics. He came up under Pep. I knew that much. But as a manager, I didn't know who he was. But over a full year, he showed me. So for the next 4 or 5 months, like Mike said, our team is pretty solidified, as the role players know their roles and the starters kind of know that these are the guys who, we're going to go and play in our most important matches. But at the end of the day, like Mike said, these are also time for some of these fringe guys to prove themselves, because this is a new manager. Obviously, it's a new system. He's maybe looking to move a few new pieces. Pedro Neto, I'm looking at you. You better make sure that you got your head on straight, because, look, you haven't been playing the best. And I don't want to go and do my dissertation on you, but I got notes on you, fam. So this is a time for every player to kind of look in the mirror and say, hey, like, we still have things that as Chelsea, I know we expect to be. And so I don't want the form to drop too much. And I don't want this new guy to come in and try to change too much too quickly. But at the same time, I don't expect too much from this. This is the situation that you would have asked me at the beginning of December. I would have looked at you crazy. But now we're here and we kind of just have to live through it. So,
but for what it's worth, for a guy that watches League every week, I can tell you that he was doing a really good job with Strasbourg. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you can look at the table, you can look at some of their results, and see that
Strasbourg was playing really well. They're doing better than teams like Monaco. They were fighting for a European spot, Conference League. So and that's amazing for a team like Strasbourg, because Strasbourg is usually bottom of the table. So that much I know. He's a good coach. Now I don't know if like the situation within the players and the staff is different, of course, but like I know he knows football. He can.
I want to add this. Cornelius made a very good point. I want to add this to it. Oh God, it just slipped my mind. You guys can go ahead. God,
I was just gonna say, look, Poppy, it's okay when you're doing it with little expectations in League One. No disrespect, but we talk about it all the time. All of our clubs.
I agree.
The weight of the badge, bro. Can you come to a big club with all of the noise, with all of the expectations, with all of these egos and divas in the locker room now, and can you manage? Can you coach? Can you make in-game transitions? Can you make in-game decisions that allow you to maybe get points from a losing position, or make sure that you maintain points from a winning position? These are the things that we're asking now. And certain men come in, like Mike said, we've been through it all. We've been through the Jose Mourinhos, we've been through the Don Carlo Ancelottis, we've been through the Antonio Contes, we've been through it all, bro. We've been through multiple types of management. So now I'm just looking to see, can you come in and can you maintain the ship? Yeah. And this next 4 or 5 months, it's gonna show me. I know we're gonna lose some matches that we should win, and I know we're gonna probably win some matches that we should, quite frankly, lose. But it's gonna show me who are you over these next 4 months. So I don't have patience.
The reason why I asked the question. The reason why I asked the question.
It's a great question. It's a great question. I'm not sure how
I've been through it.
Chelsea fans feel, but personally, I don't want to call this year a wash, because it's not necessarily a wash. We still can go fight for things. But for me, once we sacked Maresca, this season, all of my expectations leading up to this season were gone. Like everything that I fully expected to go fight for, even after Cole Palmer got hurt and he's come back and I've been 100% himself, I still expected this team to go do certain things up until January 3rd or 4th, where it was announced that Maresca would be officially leaving. Everything went out the window.
And as a Chelsea fan, this is the point I was going to make. I can understand why you feel that way, because for our board to let go of the manager at a critical time of the season, literally smack dab in the middle of the season, it tells me that, maybe your expectations have changed on what could be possible this year. Because if we let go of him, it's a crazy expectation to expect the next guy coming in to just win everything. But my only confidence comes from the fact that this squad have been together for a couple of years now, and we've won shit together. So hopefully, I'm just being optimistic that maybe just the camaraderie, maybe just the fact that we've been together, or most of these guys have been together long enough, we can manufacture some wins. But I completely understand Cornelius' way.
And also,
it's coming from.
It's a World Cup year. The players won't let him down. These players will want to play hard to make it to their country's list for the World Cup. So he can count on the players. You're right. You can count on the players on that part. And you've been signed for multiple years, so the staff, trusts you. The only reason why I asked the question is I've been through it. Like as a Barcelona fan, when Xavi came, the year he came mid-season. We didn't have any expectations from him because we knew it was going to be hard. But the year after, he was winning things because he had that transitional period where he got accustomed to it and everything. So that's why I was asking the question. But yeah, fair enough.
No, it was a good question, and that's why. And I expected it, because that's the question everybody wants to know. Like, do you still expect to go? Yeah. And I don't know if we can fully say that, because this is such a new guy. This is a guy that's come from, again, kind of just humble beginnings, and so for us to kind of just put all these expectations on him, I think as a fan would be a little harsh, to be honest. But at the same time, as a fan of Chelsea, we're still in these competitions, bro. So we kind of expect you to steer the ship. steer the ship.
Yeah.
You know, just
I mean,
don't.
there's
drop
nothing to
the
lose
ball.
at this point. Just
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
go
I mean,
hard.
you're playing with house money. You know, no one.
Yeah.
I feel like not a lot of people expect him to go win everything, but if you can continue to keep the standards high and
Exactly.
not lose like egregiously, bro, I
Yeah.
feel like we'll back you.
We'll
And
back
that's
you.
all
Exactly.
that's all I'm hoping for. Like Mike said, I'm cautiously optimistic. You know, I don't have too many thoughts on it, but cautiously optimistic. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more optimistic than some Manchester United fans right now, especially after the week they've had.
I
with
saw
their-
this coming from a mile away, bro.
Yeah, you know, little small segue, some slight.
I saw this coming from a mile away.
But yeah, man, United after firing Amorim, it seems like their board doesn't have a clue either on what their next steps are. It's been a tough week for y'all. Not to be, not to joke too much, but Salam, do you see yourself hiring a new manager, or do you think Fletcher will be the caretaker through the end of the year? Because we see
I heard Zidane is interested.
Yeah, I don't know if Zidane would even come this year. You know, we
I
heard
promise
Ole.
you don't. This.
We heard Ole maybe coming back and seeing y'all through to the end of the year. I think you even said you wouldn't mind Ole. But what do you expect United to do for the next steps in your saga over there?
Nah, I think the it's crazy, man. It's crazy. The first thing that I want to say though is I want to say the decision to sack Ruben Amorim was the right decision because he's shown that he wasn't going to change the way that he was going to play. And the board also showed that we're not going to invest any more money. So, the system he wanted to play obviously required, a revamp of players. They didn't want to invest in that. So that was never going to work out. So the decision in sacking him was the right decision. My thing is, though, how are you not prepared for the possible outcome of this not working out? Because you see what's going on. You've already made the decision that you're not going to invest any more money on them. I just we just got done talking about Chelsea, but I think it's Chelsea in our situation, very similar situations. Obviously, there's a lot of different variables, but Chelsea, you guys sacked your manager. There was a plan put in place. If this happens, this is who we're going to get. You guys missed one game with an interim manager. And it was important for you guys to get in your long-term solution, right? Because you're still in a cup competition. Let him get prepared against Barnsley, right? Set some sort of foundation there. And then we have a big semifinal matchup against Arsenal for a trophy. That's the difference in mentality in both clubs, in my opinion. This team obviously is looking at the rest of the season. We still have stuff to salvage. And here we are. It's we've already made the decision we're not going to invest in January. And we don't even have a plan put in place to sack the guy that you obviously have lost confidence in. I don't know. I think it just, like I said last week, I think you just really have to ask questions about the board and this whole. I'm not even talking about the Glazers right now. I'm talking about the Avengers. Jim Ratcliffe and Omar Barada and all these Jason Wilcox, all these guys.
Assemble.
It's what are you guys doing? I don't know. It's really baffling, but because the players are not going to give you a bounce. They got to be good. And you're not getting no manager bounce from them. I mean, think about it. Darren Fletcher comes over, takes over, and then look, it's decision after decision, right? The interim, the caretaker manager that you put in place before was Darren Fletcher. You drew against a relegation side Burnley team, and then now we're out of the FA Cup today. So it's wow. And then the report came out. We're recording this in the evening. The report came out probably about 20 minutes ago. We're going to get an announcement on the, the deal on who's going to take over for the rest of the season. And obviously right now it's between Ole and Michael Carrick. Me personally, I think you have to give Michael Carrick this opportunity. You absolutely have to give it to Michael Carrick.
Wow.
Because we already saw what we're going to do with
I agree.
with Ole. We're going to play this like we're pretty much going to do the same thing that Darren Fletcher's doing, bro. And he's came out multiple times and said, "Hey, I don't manage the team. I just coach the team." So I'm like, tactically, there were already guys that were here when you were here the first time. Yeah, bro. I mean, y'all remember what it was like with Ole? I do vividly. This is like when we first started the pod.
So to play devil's advocate, right? When you guys had Ole, you guys were not playing the most fun football at all, for sure. But you guys were maintaining that top four status. And in a year where top four is up for grabs, you don't think Ole would be enough?
No,
because this isn't it. This is. I saw a stat today that said after being knocked out of the FA Cup, you guys are only going to play 40 games this year. That's the least you guys have played in I don't know how long.
Bro,
that's 30. We can play 38 Premier League matches and 2 outside of that.
It don't matter, bro. At the end of the day, like the problem is that whoever comes in for whatever reason, we're not able to implement any sort of identity, which I believe that some of these players have to go. I mean,
so what would you see with Carrick? Do you just want to see something new?
Well, Carrick was, yes, he's something new, but Carrick was a midfielder. He was known to be a player to really affect the game with his mind. Not crazy athletic, but he played in the middle of the park in an era too where United were up here. So like as a player, you have the pedigree. Like I know you see the game, you have a vision. And I mean, he impressed in their meeting with him. Like I just think that like our biggest issue right now is in the midfield. So like if you could bring in someone with his background and his IQ, I think it's going to help this team because we can score goals. Our problem right now is that we can't defend and we can't keep the ball in the midfield, which is a problem. Like everything is connected. And I just think that he gives us the best opportunity to win. We already seen what we're going to do with Ole. He gave birth to one of the worst midfields we've ever seen in the Premier League in McFred. Y'all remember that? I know you guys like McTominay now, but before
don't say now. Don't
no. I know y'all like him now.
Don't even do that. I've been rocking with mixed sauce.
That's a fact. Yeah, he does this kind of stuff now, so everyone likes it.
That's
which
my
is weird. But I'm like, bro, respect. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just like, you forget the whole like he was a part of McFred. It started with him.
I mean that pairing won it.
But who put them in there, bro? And
you're right.
I know what we're gonna get from Ole. So no, like even like I said, Michael Carrick, I think gives us the best opportunity, and I think ultimately it helps the board as well too, because now you kind of have a backup option in the sense of because I know they're gonna do this. If it goes well, we'll just give him the job. So I mean, this is kind of like this is
that was what I was gonna ask you though. Do you want them to go that route, or would you rather put somebody in now that you know is for the future and actually there's not going to be any changes? Because this is what I feel like I've heard you guys in recent years. You brought in Jose, you brought in Ole, and then you brought in Ten Hag and then Amorim. Now your team, if you look at your team right now, I think you still have guys from Jose era. You have guys still from the Ole era and even see. So it's a hodgepodge of different identities from different managers. Do you think it would make sense if you go with an interim guy and then you give him the job and then you're like, he wasn't good enough to begin with, but we thought maybe it was going to work out. And then he gets his guys in and then he's gone. And then another new manager comes in. And then I feel like that's what you guys have been doing. Well, I think you have a perfect situation to make a decision that you can stick with. Okay, you did that mid-season with Amorim, it didn't work. Maybe just let Fletcher ride it out and let it known that he's just
hell.
And then in the summer, bring in a guy and invest with that guy, whoever he wants to fit his system, whatever player he wants to bring in, do it that way. I don't know. Because it seems like there's just been hodgepodge of just different type of players, and it's affecting the next manager that comes in because then he doesn't like this guy because he doesn't fit his profile or he doesn't fit his system. I don't know, man.
I agree, bro. I agree with a lot of what you said, but just to kind of unpack what you said, right? First of all, like it's the board's decision to get rid of the players that need to get rid of. Like I said, Luke Shaw's still playing. Luke Shaw was a mainstay under Ole. So if Ole comes back, you already know what's going on there. Delo, same thing. These are like, so that's on the board. Obviously, you have to be able to filter some of the guys out that haven't been playing at a high level and bring in more guys that are up to par. My thing is, though, when you look at the landscape of managers right now, there's not a whole lot of guys that I would look around and say, I know for a fact this guy is. There's two guys that honestly I believe would be like my ideal scenario. But even those two guys, they wouldn't even be available until the summer, which is why like I'm okay with this whole Carrick thing, because at the end of the day, like Carrick has shown he's done a decent job at Middlesbrough. He actually has managerial experience. Darren Fletcher hasn't. And like I think that's like what I just like, how you have to have some sort of experience in the role that you're trying to do. This is a big job. So he's actually managed a club before. And like I said, for the reasons of his IQ and our weaknesses, I think he can directly help us short term. Long term, there's two guys on the list that I would say the first person I would go for is Tuchel. After the World Cup, you have to bring this guy in. I think that he would be. He's a guy that knows the Premier League. He's managed a big team before. He's worked in similar situations like this. I think that he could certainly get the job done. Another one that's far-fetched, which sucks because he turned down the whatever the noise, what it was, but Luis Enrique. There was reports that he turned down the PSG contract extension, and then I guess he came out and said that's not true. So, well, that's gone. But
Enrique is not coming to Man U. I don't think that's
no. But I'm just saying, like when I look at the landscape of managers, like there's really not a lot of guys that I would be like, you know what, this guy could really get it in. I mean, people talking about.
Try to convince Klopp.
But Xavi, that's the whole thing, bro. In order to play the way Xavi wants to play, Mike, we need $1 billion. Like, what do we need? We can't. These guys can't. Like, what do you, bro? They can't. Nah, bro. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I'm curious because I think Carrick, because of where he is in his career, I think he'd be okay with not being given money in January. You know what I'm saying? Like, because this is, again, for him, it's like I'm playing with house money. This is my audition. If it goes well, they may consider me for the long-term job, which I think that they will, because then it just kind of covers their, covers them a little bit. But but like, I just, like I said earlier, I just think when you look at our situation and the Chelsea situation, it's two completely different mindsets of like salvaging our season, that competitiveness. Say what you want, but like I don't know. Like I think it just says a lot that you guys brought in a guy. He only missed one game. We Darren Fletcher came in, bro. We lost crucial points against a side we were supposed to beat, and then we just got knocked out of the FA Cup. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your guys' next game is a semifinal, game one of a semifinal against a big team. So for you to bring in the guy to get his feet wet against Barnsley in the FA Cup, that tells me like, okay, like, you know what? We want to make this work. Like, we're ambitious. We're competitive. Like, come on, man.
Yo, wouldn't it be funny
the fact that you're trying to
Manu
entertaining Ole? Like, are you kidding me, bro? Ole? Come on, man. It's a joke.
Imagine Manu goes to get Maresca.
Bro, right, but Poppy, go do it though. Like, how do you have, like, regardless? And I know with the Chelsea situation, like, I bring that up because it's they happen so close to each other and there's a lot of similarities, but it's like maybe with Chelsea it was a little bit easier because, like Mike said, he was already a part of the whole organization. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, you know what? Let's just plug him from over here. He's already been doing a decent job anyway. So like, but again, it's like as big of an institution that Manchester United Football Club is, you telling me you don't have a backup plan? Like, you clearly don't believe in this guy because you told him we're not going to spend money in January. So like, where is the? I don't know. Like,
I see your point. So this whole time, you haven't been actually.
You're
In
not
case we were
proactive.
to let this guy go, who would be his replacement? You haven't been
Yeah,
doing that homework. I see what you mean.
it's crazy,
I
man.
think they should they're I think they should look at. I mean, there are some names available. Southgate is available. I think Thiago
Yeah.
Motta is available. Like,
Yeah. No, but see these
yeah,
guys, though, bro. Like
you can get
all
these
these guys
guys.
talk to
Like,
all these guys, and the board has made it very clear what they want to do. They just, I don't know. I don't know if this is like the wave now. If this is where football's going, but these places just want to coach. I don't know. Maybe it's just like they don't want someone who's going to be in charge of everything. Just the coach. These are the players. These are the pool of players. I guess you can work with, and then that's like what we're running here.
yeah.
Like, which is crazy. Like, surely the manager has to have some sort of say of like incomings, outcomings, because he's
Of
the
course,
one
of
managing
course.
the team, right? Like,
Of course.
come on, bro. It's just,
And
yeah,
that's
man.
and I feel like that's a thing in modern football, or quote unquote modern football, because football has been kind of the same way for 100+ years now. Like the way that the structure is, managers, sporting directors, how they work, how they interact, and now you're getting these new owners, a lot of them American, who feel that they can come in and they own the team now. So whatever we feel like we can do, we will do. And that's kind of been this new mentality. And so I feel like with certain clubs, it's kind of sad that you get to the top of the top and you have to deal with these constraints as a manager with these certain clubs. But, it's something that either you have to work around or work with. So it kind of is what it is. We know who our owners are, and that at other places it's a little different. So, I look at FSG, Liverpool. FSG is an American owner, and they are ownership group. And I feel like in the beginning they were a little stringent as well, but they started opening up with Klopp. And I feel like once they got Arne Slot, they gave him 300 million over in the summer. So for me, it's like you kind of pick your poison, but as a manager, that certain places you go, you're not going to have the same liberties as other places.
Right, but like my only thing about that, Quinn, and I agree with a lot of what you said.
And
I
I'm not saying I agree with
don't
it.
think that
I'm
it's
just
just
saying
an
that's just how it
American
is
thing.
with our clubs.
It's just like this whole like American thing though. But the Americans have shown, like Bowley has shown, I don't really know a lot about all of this, but the person that I hired to run this, like you have to know about that kind of stuff. I just think that it's crazy because I'm not even looking at the Glazers right now. The Glazers own this club. It's the Avengers who is like Jim Ratcliffe. I don't know what you gave 1 point whatever billion you gave. What are you doing? Omar Barada, you are the CEO. Like, what are you doing? Like, your director of football obviously does not have a good relationship with, I don't know, bro. It's just, yeah, man.
No,
but we can move on.
Man. I feel you because, like you said, we're both kind of in similar situations. Ours a little different now that we do have our guy, but we'll see, man. We'll see. Just a few more things. I know we got to get out of here in a little bit before we close out. I do want to talk about some other big news in the FA Cup and in England. So Macclesfield upsets Crystal Palace. Macclesfield is in the 6th division. So the top 5, levels in English football get paid. So this is a non-league team, Macclesfield in the 6th division football. So a few things actually about them. They're about a month ago they lost their starting forward Ethan McLeod, who died in a car accident. So that was pretty sad, but it looks like they've kind of been rallying around that, obviously winning this 3rd round match of the FA Cup. This is the first time that a non-league team has beaten a Premier League team since 1909, and it's even more incredible because Crystal Palace clearly was the FA Cup holders. But yeah, man, just wanted to highlight Macclesfield a little bit. It's funny. There's actually Men in Blazers actually had an Instagram post about this team because obviously they don't get paid. This is a league where the players don't get paid, so they actually have a lot of players who have other jobs. So just a few jobs from some of the players on Macclesfield. They're full-time. Lewis Funsum, he owns a gym It's called Highfield Hybrid. Tom Clare was a 2024 UK Love Island winner. Danny Elliott, he owns a football and property group. Dimani Bugali Milor, he hosts a podcast called More Than a Match. And then Paul Dawson, he's a former highway supervisor. So, just a little fun fact about some of the cats that are on Macclesfield. Shout out to them again. Non-league 6th division football over in England. They beat the title holders. Man, that's the beauty of the FA Cup, bro. Beauty of the FA Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
FA Cup is a beautiful tournament. Anything can happen. I like. It's one of those stories where, like, these small clubs, they know, like, this is their moment to shine. This is their moment to to have the spotlight on them. So they take this game seriously, and most of the Premier teams too, they don't take the game seriously. So that's why you see a lot of upsets.
Facts. That's a fact. And it's, a lot of these teams, they play their youth. It's like we can rotate our players. We're playing a 5th division side, a 6th division side, a championship side. And these, like you said, these lower division teams are like, bro, we're playing who? We're playing what?
Like, they get excited. Like,
playing them. It's like, for them, this is the biggest match of their
right.
Fam. It's like, yeah, I'm about to go make a name for myself. I'm about to go make a name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the FA Cup, man.
Another big one, Wrexham upsets Forest, Nottingham Forest. Wrexham, this is a team that we've talked about on this podcast a lot. I've gassed them up a few times, in years past, just 3 years in a row being promoted. And, they're fighting in the championship. I believe they're, 4 or 5 points off a championship playoff spot, which is a 6th place spot. Again, they went to PKs, and there was a cool Instagram post about the Wrexham goalie, because he was actually an Arsenal Academy player who, Arsenal let go of, and kind of found his way in Wrexham and kind of just been grinding over the last few years, and has been their starting goalie since they've started this, meteoric rise, and now they're in the championship. So he saved 2 penalty kicks in the PK shootout for Wrexham to go ahead and win 4-3s on PKs. He actually saved the last 2 shots. So it was a great PK shootout. If you haven't seen it, you can probably find that on YouTube. But shout out to Wrexham, man. This team, like I said, earlier this year, it wouldn't be crazy to say that we see this team in the Premier League in the next 2 years. I mean, if they were to do it this year, I think that'd be amazing. But I would not be surprised if we saw Wrexham in the Prem in the next 2 years. I mean, the way that
I want to see them in the Prem.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, Poppy, I do too, because the way that they, they've been owned by Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds, they're doing it the right way. Kind of like what you said about Bowley, Salam. They know they don't know anything about soccer, about football. But what they've done for me that's been interesting is they've made this a community thing. They've gone to the fans of Wrexham. They've gone to the community. They've said, what would you like to see? What do you think we need? Obviously, they take that with a grain of salt, and they go to, the people that they hired that are their directors of football and things of that matter. But they've included everyone. They look, this is a small town club. You guys know way better than I do what this club needs. Give me a little bit of feedback, and we'll go and we'll use our resources to try to get you as much as you can. And, we've seen over the last 5 years what they've been able to do with this Wrexham team. So, man, it's just been crazy to watch them. Like I said a few years ago, this is a team I'm going to keep a very, very close eye on for a long time, just because of what we've seen their American owners do in light of our just previous conversation about our American owners not doing the right thing. So it's been cool to see, these celebrities kind of just take this football approach in the right way.
I agree, man. I agree. I've been wanting to see Wrexham in the Premier League for years now, and I think, like you said, it's going to happen in a couple of years. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty nuts. But last thing, Liverpool, Arsenal, we got to talk about that midweek match. We'd be remiss. I know Gabriel's not here, but you guys' thoughts on it? Liverpool versus Arsenal, 0-0. I think Salam alluded to it earlier, but Liverpool first game without a shot on frame in I don't know how many years. For a week where Aston Villa also dropped points, and City is, also dropping points, I think this was Arsenal's week to go ahead and actually make a statement. And this, I don't want to say nothing too premature, but it's still January, and I feel like everybody's been gassing Arsenal as far as these guys are the league leaders when they're only really 6 points ahead of both Arsenal or Aston Villa and Liverpool. And so I think Dominic Szoboszlai came out and said, "Hey, everyone's calling them the league, the league leaders or whatever, but they gotta see us. We won the championship last year. We won the Premier League last year, and I think this was a very big result for Liverpool. Back in the top four, a big draw away or a big draw against the title leaders currently or the league leaders currently. But should Arsenal be worried? Just gonna open it up to the group. Do y'all think Arsenal should be worried? Poppy, I'll start with you.
Yes, I think so. Last week I told y'all it was going to be a draw. Y'all looked at me like I was crazy when we did the predictions. I told y'all it was Arsenal wasn't going to beat Liverpool, man. But I think, look, this is what I think personally. I think if Arsenal wants to win the Premier League by March, by like mid to end March, they need to have at least 9 points over whoever is second place. If that's not happening, then I don't know, because we know that City is going to shorten the gap, as time goes on, you know, and that's going to happen. But when that happens, you want to have as many points ahead of them as possible, so that when it happens, it won't change much. But like you said, in a week where your direct opponents are dropping points, this was the perfect moment to go ahead, and they dropped 2 points now. And yeah, 6 points is not a lot. We're in early January. There's so much football left to be played. I think they should be worried because like I said, they haven't done well in keeping a lead over the years. We can only judge from what we've seen from them so far. In my opinion, they should have more at 9 points or more ahead of whoever is second place around March. you know I think that's what they need. If they don't have that, I don't see them making it this year. But other teams can drop points too as well. I mean, we've seen City drop points a couple of times. They're shaky as well. So, you know, Arsenal can count on that. But it would be a really risky move. I think they're dropping point. Like I said, it's gonna be a very, very difficult year, man. Champions League is gonna be around again. It's a World Cup season, you know, like there is so much that's going to happen. You do not want to compete in a race against a team that's as deep or deeper than you down the line, because there will be a point where you will have to play Champions League, you will have to play FA Cup, you will have to play Premier League, you will have to play all these other things where you know if the other team is deeper than you, then they have more advantage and more leverage to switch up. And if you're going to do that, you want to have as much, as many points in advantage ahead as possible. So I think there's something to be worried about for Arsenal. But then again, it's still January, so maybe they're doing it right. Maybe they're handling it. Maybe this is the year. But if I was an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't feel safe right now. Bottom line is what I would say.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything to worry about. I think this is the best team in the league. I think this is the best defense in the league, which ultimately is what's going to carry them through. I mean, I don't know why Eze is not playing like that anymore. But Arteta has a plan, but yeah, I just think defensively, man, when it comes down to it, if they need to defend for 60 to 90 minutes, I think that they can. That's ultimately what the biggest strength of their team is. And I know Saka's kind of just now really finding form, but I don't know. And defensively, that's just, again, I hate to just harp on that, but like that's what's going to be the difference maker over like the course of the season. You know, how many goals do you concede? And these guys don't concede often.
That is true.
I agree with that. I also think this game told us more about Liverpool than it really told us about Arsenal. I think this is the first time we saw Liverpool look complete, even though they didn't have shots on target. I think this was vintage Liverpool. For the first time this season, at least in the Prem, I felt like we saw a solid team, a solid performance. Everybody seemed to, understand their role, and they took the game to Arsenal. And unfortunately for Liverpool, they just couldn't score. But defensively, you guys were sound. You kept your wits about you. You didn't lose your head. So overall, I thought this told me more about Liverpool than it did Arsenal. Arsenal have had a couple of these games this season. We saw it against Chelsea as well. But in that game, at least there were goals. But other than that, as an Arsenal fan, I would have been disappointed not getting a bigger gap between us and City. But overall, I think Liverpool walked away happier than at least Arsenal did. But yeah, these type of weekends where most of the guys around you that are chasing you drop points. These are the week you're supposed to open that gap. And like Papi said, they didn't open that gap. And if it happens a couple more times, City will just overtake you. The gap is really not that big for Arsenal fans to be comfortable. It's really not that big. It's just a few games. One game here and there, you could be right behind City. So this was a weekend they should have taken the opportunity, and they didn't. So as a Liverpool fan, I think you'd be excited to see your team at least hang with the team at the top of the table. And as an Arsenal fan, you would have been a little disappointed walking away thinking that this performance wasn't very convincing. So I would have left that game as an Arsenal fan a little worried. Yeah.
Fair enough. To close out, man, gotta give congrats to Barcelona winning 3-2 over Real Madrid in the Copa final over in La Liga. I know, Papi, that you watched the match. You said, how was the overall play? Just to close out, quick hitter.
It was a really good game. 2-2 at halftime. We've seen 4 goals in 45 minutes. Barcelona scored first. Rafinha, after missing, he missed the one-on-one chance, and then like 2 minutes later he scored the first goal, and then about like 10 to 15 minutes later Real Madrid equalized with a magnificent goal from Vinicius. Dribbled past like 2 to 3 defenders and scored a goal. The minute later Barca scores again, and the minute later Madrid scores again. And then the second half, about like 70-75 minutes, another goal from Barcelona. And then, at that point, it was more like, controlling the pace. Barcelona was dominating most of the game. Madrid couldn't find, the goals. And at some point, like around 5 minutes before the game ended, I think it was De Jong that got a red card. So Barcelona played with 10 men in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Rashford came in, Mbappe came in. Rashford missed a chance to kill the game around like 3 minutes before. But
oh man. But yeah, it was just him and the goal, man. He didn't even, not even on target, bro.
It's all good, man.
But
I'm sorry, but you know what popped in my head? When I looked at Salam, that speed meme where he
Salam had
just like
flashbacks, dog.
he has headphones on and he just closes his eyes like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's really what popped in my when
Yeah.
I looked at Salam, it was just like,
But at that,
of course it
at that
is.
point though, at that point, Barca was just trying to kill time because it was like 3 minutes before the game was over, so they weren't even focused like that. But yeah, Madrid had two big chances in the last 2 minutes, but they couldn't get it done. And yeah, Barcelona won the Spanish Cup once again, back to back for the second year in a row. Rafinha, second year in a row MVP, of the cup. And yep, that's another trophy for Barcelona.
Yeah, shout out Barca, man. They're getting it done over there.
Fun fact: Hansi Flick has never lost a final in his career.
Wow.
No way. Wow.
Yeah, so you still got it. That's crazy.
He's never lost a final in his career. That's crazy.
Jose had never lost a final.
He's 6-0.
When did he?
6-0 right now. Knock on wood, man. I hope he never loses one.
Yeah, that's a great stat.
Anyways.
That's a great stat. But yeah, great episode. I'm not sure if y'all know what the locks were, but
yes, I can look.
I think mine hit.
I know Salam. Yeah, mine hit too. I think. Let me see.
Mine hit too.
Damn.
We gotta raise these prices.
All this luck.
I think the locks hit, man. I'm telling you, Patreon.
Yeah, mine was Everton money line. Picking on Wolves a little bit, but
oh yeah. Hey, Wolves might be back. Or Wolves might be back. Before we do our predictions, any shout outs? I'll actually start, man. I want to shout out Mike. It's funny you just brought up Speed. I want to shout out Speed, bro. He's been in Africa this month. He's been going around to different countries, and it's honestly been cool to see like the other parts of Africa. I mean, I don't really follow these streamers like that, but with social media, everything gets clipped up and put on the different sites. But it's honestly been very, very heartwarming to see like one, just all the things he's doing. He's going to certain remote parts of the country, and then he's going to the city and kicking it with like, the quote unquote influencers over there. But, he's very gracious with his time, and he's very like willing to learn. I didn't even know Angola had like Buddhist temples. Like I just saw a video this weekend of like him going to like one of the Buddhist temples. Like they have like monks up there. They were doing like different bamboo, like different like martial arts dances and routines. It's been crazy to see this stuff like I had no idea about. So it's been dope to see also the reception that he's getting on social media from other Black Americans that are now very, very interested after seeing, Africa in a new light. So it's been dope to see him over there and just enjoying his time. So that's been cool to watch.
No, I just wanted to add on that to your last point about like, being welcomed. Like I saw this post about like, when he did his European tour, it's like there's like a bunch of people trolling him, you know what I'm saying? Just like trying to get like on camera, trying to get their like whatever, 15 seconds of whatever. And then out there, it's just like people are actually showing him like real love. And he was, I mean, he says that too. I've watched a few of the clips. He was like, yo, people really like show love out here and it's genuine and it's not like on some like
your people
trying to get their fame, bro. They're just like, like as Africans, we've always been welcoming and we like to have a good time. And that doesn't always get portrayed. It doesn't always get portrayed, across the medium. So it's like when you have somebody over there as big as Speed is with his following and he's doing everything in real time. You know what I'm saying? Like you're seeing it as it's happening. So it's like you can't even make things up, because you're seeing how truly, gracious everybody is over there. He said
Rwanda, is probably the most beautiful place he's ever been. And I watched that video and I was like,
cleanest country in the world.
That's dope. Yeah, for sure. Rwanda. But it's just, Mike, not a lot of people know that.
That's a thing.
But it's,
when you think Rwanda,
there's a reason. There's a reason you see Visit Rwanda in every football game, man, on TV. Yeah. You see it everywhere.
Yeah,
right. You're right.
The president has done a tremendous job. Kagame.
That's a good shout out. That's a very good shout out. He's definitely put us in a different light on the map. Now everybody will want to go see some of these places he's been. You know, some of these places he's been. I haven't even seen videos from. Like,
No, fact.
what was it? Estuania or
Yeah,
Estuania?
Swanee, yeah.
Yeah,
Fact.
I've never seen a lot of videos and even clips, so I know a lot about that place. And I'm African, so it was good to see. My shout out is for Denver Summit. This is a newly, NWSL team. They're getting their own stadium. And this is good for American football, American soccer. We want to you whatever, however you want to call it, because we're actually getting a lot of soccer specific stadiums in the country, and this one is going to be even specifically a women's stadium. So this part of things like this in terms of like building stadiums and introducing more women teams into these leagues, I think promotes the game. And it's another way of promoting the game, and it's good to see that American the fan base, we're trying to get the sport out there. No matter how people will talk about, oh, you Yankees don't know about anything about the game. It's I think this puts us in a good light, so I wanted to shut them up.
I'm dead.
Shout out to our comments.
I'm weak.
Our comments be coming for our heads, man. But
man, for sure.
Anytime I read stuff like
keep posting,
that,
man.
like,
We love it.
people
we
are
love
paying
the
attention,
bro.
Yeah, you're
Love
paying
the
attention,
engagement, man. All that. All that.
That's good. I'll go next. My shout out's going to actually go to Mohamed Salah. I had a lot of criticism, scrutiny going into this tournament. Definitely proved a lot of people wrong that he can still contribute and play at a high level. I think 5 goal involvements in the tournament so far. And just looks rejuvenated, man. I'm not sure what's going to happen when he goes back to Liverpool, honestly. In my opinion, I think a departure would
Isak
be
is out now, so they definitely have
right. Yeah. So now Isak would
really.
Yeah, with him being out, I mean, maybe that paves the way for him to get into slots minutes, to get more minutes from slots, whatever his name is. But
that came out so wrong.
Yeah, bro. Arnie. But no, man, shout out to him, man. Definitely one of the modern legends. I remember saying, and one time before, I think it was last season, I just, I think because we've watched guys like Messi and Ronaldo, sometimes we as fans kind of, we grow numb to some of the performances that we see in real time. And I think that, it's going to take a few years for us to really recognize, for a lot of people to really recognize that, Mohamed Salah actually was, one of the Premier League GOATs. When you look at the stuff that he's done, not a lot of people have done that. So shout out to him, man. And hopefully leave Liverpool. So.
You were saying he said something surprising. He said that the Egypt group right now is the best group he's been in. He said the group is.
Players be saying that. I hate when players do that. Like, come on.
I feel.
I mean, maybe
that 2020
I feel like that's genuine though. Like,
no, but I'm not mad at that. Especially if somebody with his long stay. You remember, because even Messi said that. And he's played with Tevez, Aguero, all Mascherano, all of them. He was like, this Argentina team that won the World Cup was the best team I played with. And sometimes it just be like that.
He didn't even say it was the best team. He was talking about locker room, how the team is meshing well.
Yeah, in general,
Okay. Was talking about that.
I mean, religiously they're locked in with each other. You see the videos of them praying and before the games and stuff and like that. All that's important. Yeah. But I also think, just on the flip side, for there are some people who we're talking to. Virgil said, remember, no credit. You don't just get unlimited credit. You gotta come in here and show it. So I feel
so if Egypt doesn't win this AFCON, is this Salah's last AFCON? I don't know if it's his last.
You got the World Cup.
AFCON.
Yeah, but if Salah retires without an AFCON, that's not looking good, bro.
I mean,
And if
you
and
could
if and
say
if
that.
Senegal eliminates Egypt, so Sadio Mane cost him another AFCON, and then Senegal goes on
Twice.
to win the AFCON again.
See,
That's even more of a
go
bad luck
Poppy.
on him. But
Pop,
Nah,
pop
nah.
predictions.
I'm just
Pop
saying.
predictions. Here we go.
But I mean, all that he has the World Cup though, so I think like anything that happens this tournament, because I mean the 4 teams that made it to the semifinals are damn near the
These are
4
the
teams that we damn
Yeah,
near
well,
like
good
thought
one, yeah.
like wanted to, but
Yeah.
but no, I mean obviously like the history between you guys and them obviously is there, but I don't know, bro. I think he could lose this and still make noise in the World Cup. He can still.
Yeah. No,
I think he has one AFCON left. Come on,
I
bro.
was
Saw
more
When,
expecting
Andre
when they
Ayew
lined
and
them up,
Jordan Ayew.
no, when they lined
this.
them up in Africa, I see how that not winning an AFCON, yeah, could bring
Yeah,
his.
like that's more what I was talking about. Because like when
Yeah,
it's all said and done, you're gonna talk about all these greats, right? And
yeah,
it kind of hurt Drogba for a while.
yeah.
You know,
Until you got it.
you're gonna talk about Eto'o, Drogba,
All those guys.
Mahrez, yeah, Mane, all these guys, and you're gonna look at Salah and you're gonna be like, oh, he's
Never
he's
go.
played an AFCON final, he's played a couple of semifinals, he's never won the AFCON.
That's
It's
fact.
not gonna. I don't wish that on him. I hope he wins an AFCON, not this one, of course, but I hope he gets it done at some point. But yeah, he's I agree that he does deserve a shout out for sure. And I do agree that he's one of the Premier League goats as well. And
Poppy,
I
Poppy, you got
I
any
would,
shout outs?
yeah. Well, other than the coaches, the African coaches for the AFCON that I mentioned earlier, I will also shout out the last 4 that we have, the players Mane, Salah, Osimhen, and Hakimi. We have the African creme de la creme here in the last 4. These are the guys that won the most of the previous African Ballon d'Ors in the last 10 years.
Yeah, facts.
It's them.
Most of the guys in the last 4 too were in our players to
Yeah.
watch.
Didn't Lookman win it last year too? I don't.
He did.
Yeah. So and he's there too. Yeah.
2
So we have
Nigerians recently. Yeah.
we pretty much have like the winners of the last 10 African Ballon d'Ors having to fight each other for one more AFCON. I think that's beautiful. So shout out to them. And yeah, that's I think that's what I have.
Really awesome. That's really awesome. Damn, we have it in Mane, we have Salah, we have Lukman, Osimhen, Hakimi.
Yeah.
Wow.
But but that's what I'm saying. These are the teams we expect to go make noise in the World Cup too.
Absolutely.
I said this from the jump.
Absolutely.
I said these favorites, and that's why I'm upset Nigeria is not there, because Nigeria.
I'm so mad at that too, bro.
Nigeria's played so well in this AFCON. It's like, damn, we're really going to be deprived of this in the World Cup.
And the craziest part is like every time we've seen Nigeria in the World Cup, they actually play so
make
well
some
against
shade.
big
Like
teams.
they actually they be
See,
all right.
They always give us
and they
a
be in
good
tough
game
groups too.
against
Like they be in
Argentina.
tough groups and they still be all right. Like
Exactly.
I don't know. What do you guys think about this? I feel like the winner of the AFCON should have an automatic ticket to the World Cup. On a World
Winner
Cup.
of any continental
Any
tournament,
continental.
I feel like should.
Yeah, but the reason why I say
yeah.
AFCON is the other tournaments happen like except the Copa America, but the others happen every 4 years like Euro. But AFCON it's not going to happen every 4 years. Hopefully not. But yeah, but what I'm saying is like
I see what you mean. The 2
yeah,
years.
I feel like imagine Nigeria wins the AFCON, but they're not going to be in the World Cup.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
I have a problem
I
with
see,
that.
I see what you mean.
Like,
I see what you mean.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like it happened with Egypt too. Like Egypt won the AFCON in 06, 08, and 2010, and they missed both those World Cups. Yet they played in the Confederation Cup in 2009, and they beat Italy, who just came off a World Cup win. They almost beat Brazil.
they did. They did beat Italy. I remember that.
They beat Italy. It's crazy. USA beat them in that Confederation
to
Cup.
bring back the Confederations Cup. That used to be a nice buffer before the World Cup.
They were invited. They were invited to that because they won 3 straight AFCONs. And it was a shame that Egypt team, we never saw them in the World Cup. And now imagine Nigeria wins the AFCON, but we're not going to see them in about 6-7 months in the World Cup. I feel like I don't know. It would be honestly disappointing. But yeah, man, we have We have some beautiful semifinals, man. This is great. This is exciting.
All right, man. Predictions. We see Arsenal in the Carabao on Wednesday, and then we see Brentford this weekend. Both games are at home. Honestly, this is going to be interesting. I think we get a result against Arsenal. Like Mike said, our first match was a draw, 1-1, I believe. Um, yeah, I think we can get a result against Arsenal. I always go into these derby matches expecting something, and like that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter who our manager is. It doesn't matter who's on the pitch. To some extent, we obviously need our best players, but when we see Arsenal, I feel like we play up for the match. At least with Maresca, we played up for the big matches. So I expect a result at home. New manager bounce, hopefully. We'll see though. I don't know if we win, but I expect a result. I don't think we'll lose.
Liverpool plays Barnsley
Yeah,
tomorrow.
you just
I
gonna
don't
skip
even know.
Mike? That's crazy.
No, I agree with everything you said. I think we are going to get a result in both games. I think we win the Brentford game. Arsenal game, we're going to be up for it. We've seen our team in the last few games against big teams. It hasn't been the issue. The issue are the games that we should win. That's what's been the issue. So in these big games, I've been confident with this team. Even though the managers changed, I'm confident we can come out with a result.
Got the Manchester Derby on Saturday morning at 7:30. It's crazy.
Should I give my belt?
It's crazy. Crazy. Yeah, man. Hopefully Michael Carrick is in charge of this game. I think if Michael Carrick is in charge of this game, we have a shot at a draw. But honestly, this is a motivated City side. I mean, I think that they lost their last their last game in the league. And I mean, I don't know, man. Things are not trending up for Manchester United right now. So this is going to be a difficult game. I should call it GRG, but I won't. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let's go 2-2. Go 2-2.
Opinion, the City, well, they won the last game 10-1, so
Yeah.
Menio there now, so go deal with that. Poppy, who do y'all see?
We see Barnsley tomorrow. I don't know if I pronounced that right.
Yeah,
I
FA Cup.
Yeah, we beat them for sure. Where are they? Like, which division are they?
They're in the championship, right? I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't even know, honestly. Yeah, and then we win that game, and then Saturday I think we see Burnley. I think we win that game too. So yeah, I foresee a good week ahead of us. Grab a few points and move forward.
Good episode, guys. Shout out Ruben Amorim, man. Maybe it wasn't you. It wasn't you. All right. Nah, I appreciate you for supporting us.
What's next for Amorim, man? I wonder.
Shit. Uber? I don't know.
Think about it. How much he regrets leaving Sporting now.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
think
For
about it.
sure.
You got a 10
A
million
good thing going, bro. He's going to Fiji. He's going on vacation.
No.
He's going to put that 10 million somewhere good.
Nah.
He's fine. I'm already
sure.
wanted to leave. I'm confident.
Yeah.
He was cool. Like Cornelia said, that was the greatest dab I've ever seen.
I never seen
Hey,
nobody
you feel me?
Somebody wanted
dap
it,
up
bro.
the paparazzi. That was crazy. He
But I
said,
respect it though, bro. I
"That's
respect
right."
it.
Then he said,
In
"Thanks, guys."
stride.
He said,
You know what?
"Thanks, guys."
I
I'm
do
like,
respect
nah,
that though.
fam, this had to be.
I don't know if that's ego or I don't know.
Nah, bro, that's a guy who knows what he's worth. You know what I'm saying? He said, "I'm not about to just be happy to be here," and I don't want to drag this on too long because we got to get out of here. But like, it's Ole would have been like, "Please,
He thought he was doing a good job too. And that's the crazy part, Ole, man. It's like, nah, bro. You needed to leave, man. Peace, y'all.